Glenn.
There we are. We're on.
Glenn Farclas.
Glenn Farclas. That's what we're
Farclas.
going to have this evening.
Glenn Farclas.
Yeah.
We busted out the old Bible too. Because...
So, yeah, it was in, I didn't even realize it was in that book. This one's from the back of the collection. I think when we first started doing this is one of the OGs, the originals.
You must have picked that up.
But we never. I did, yeah. Really, at that point in time where I had no idea what I was looking at, but just like, oh, here's a $60 bottle of Scotch. It's probably somewhere in the, it can't be that bad, right?
Absolutely.
And then I went to Calgary one time, and we sat in a restaurant. I think it's called Caesars downtown in Calgary. We were drinking this the 15-year-old or something. I think it was 15-year-old. Maybe it was 25-year-olds because it was $100 a glass, anyways. So I don't know how comparative this is to that, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So.
Well, these guys are definitely there. I was looking at they're famous. They have the largest stills in the area. That's actually kind of neat. Because,
largest stills, yeah, and it's a Speyside whiskey too, right? So
I believe it is. Yeah. So they're.
Well, no, that can't be right. It's a Highland.
But it's very popular.
Oh,
and I'm
God.
not even sure if it went in
September,
August.
October, so 3 months, maybe more. Yeah, the fall to be remembered because I mean it's been so beautiful. I mean, what was today? Today was like 8 or 9 degrees outside, just gorgeous.
Middle of November. Comparable. Sunny too. Like the overcast is gone, the fog is gone, everything's
gone.
The
snow we had has disappeared. Anyways, I guess let's crack this open and see because I got the receipt in here still, so we'll even see. Olympia Liquor.
Olympia Liquor in Calgary.
Oh, this was in Grand Prairie.
Okay, what is Olympia Liquor?
I have no idea.
Sure.
I have no idea. April 15th, 2022.
Oh, boy.
So it's been in the collection a day or two.
Has been there.
Been in the collection. Lovely blue canister. Not very artsy. It looks actually kind of plain. But some things, simple things are the best.
Well, they do have a little bit of information on the back. The rest of them, they seem to really pop with the information on the front.
Yeah. I know it's made by J&G Grant, right? I mean, they make a lot of different whiskeys. 43% ABV. And it's a 700 ml instead of a 750 ml. A slightly smaller bottle. And what are we gonna have for a cigar this evening?
So these come to us from I guess you could say a friend of mine from the States. They come up here. They come bird hunting. And he said, "Well, can I bring you anything?" And originally, the first time he came up, he made the mistake of saying, "Can I bring you any tobacco products?" And I thought, at that time, I said no because this was quite a few years ago, long before we were doing this. So when he messaged me this, he said, "Yeah, I'm coming up bird hunting." I said, "Bring a box of cigars because." Well, as anybody here watching or in Canada that's ever bought a cigar or anything knows, we can't have any fun. Taxed to the extreme, and nothing is colorful. It's got to be gray and boring. So these were quite interesting. They're a very popular cigar. They're not. I don't know what these would be worth here. $30 maybe a piece, $20 a piece.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you're getting a cigar in Canada, it's going to be just more.
But like all in all, like he brought me the whole box, and I mean, I think maybe the whole box, $100 and some US. So they're not. It's not that it's not a good cigar. It's just it's something that people can really enjoy.
It's kind of a daily driver kind of cigar, right?
Yeah, I did have one at Easter, but it had been.
That's crazy to think it's been that long, eh?
Oh yes,
Easter,
yes.
Holy man! Or was it Thanksgiving?
It was Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Sorry,
I was just saying.
I had one at Thanksgiving, and
because otherwise the fellow was out of season a little bit.
It had been fired in a Ziploc bag and done everything you're not supposed to do with. So these ones I brought over. August.
It would have been, yeah.
Or did I just make a trip over and drop these off?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
It really has been too long.
Anyway, they've been here, so that's what we're gonna have tonight
Because they've been in the humidor, they've seasoned.
they should be nice, humid,
Yeah,
oily.
oily.
So I'm excited because, like, see, this is fall. I'm also really pumped about getting into the frustrations of going to town. Also, Stan and I were just talking before this. I'm gonna have to bring up.
Smell
I'm gonna have to bring up the TikTok thing too. That'll be a tangent.
Well, I think that's kind of an obligatory tangent that we take every time. But
Well, I have to get the feedback from others about the insanity of what Skillsaw boy there.
oh, yeah. Well, I mean, just so we do.
Oh, that's a good.
Yeah, it is. It's
I'm digging
yeah.
that.
I think it's got very appley. Hey,
gotta
may
see
I
that.
pour you one?
Absolutely. I want to
We
see.
we just in preparation for today. Carmen and I actually went and just spent the day in Grand Prairie. And what better way to talk, to prepare yourself to talk about the frustrations of going to town than to go and not only just go to town. We went to 3 specific places that would just drive you up the wall. We went to Walmart first,
hmm
went to Home Depot, and we went to Costco. And just to make sure there was icing on that cake, we also went to a kid's birthday party
Oh yeah.
in Grand Prairie
Sure.
at that Reach Center. I don't know if
Okay.
you've ever been there.
I've never been. But
Just fucking chaos. It's absolutely anarchy in there. I tell you, like it's wild, absolutely wild.
Okay, so in our book, doesn't really have whatever. So we're gonna get on the nose. Drier than a 10-year with quick big attack.
Quick, big.
What does that mean?
It tastes like pure gasoline.
We're gonna find out. On the body, firm, slightly oily. On the palate, plenty of flavor with notes of peat and smoke. And the finish, along with oaky notes, even at this relatively young age.
I
Of
wouldn't
course,
have picked up
that's-
smoke from that, from the nose.
No, it's
Well, according to the bottle, they've been around since 1836. So,
well, I'm gonna give it a taste before the cigar.
cheers. Oh, it does have a bit of a kind of a gravelly, almost. When you first take a hit, like a bit of tequila, and you want,
Mm. That's the quick attack.
that's I can sense that already.
I'm gonna sneeze. Mm.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. Yeah, that's a
That's
tough one.
that's a lot to unpack in the first sip. On a different day, we might, or maybe even later, we might even put just we're
gonna do
a
some
half
water on the
a
next,
drop of water
on
just
the
to
next
see.
go. But I was
Yeah.
trying to think if I was going to compile all the scotches we've had, how many different columns I would have, and I think I would probably have 3.
Three different what?
From mild to strong. If I was
Okay.
going to compile all the scotches that we've tasted,
Yep,
I would put that in the strong.
that's
Because there's some we've had, right? Those
makes the cheeks suck in a little bit.
12-year Dalmore that's almost like juice.
Oh yeah,
Right? And then
Yeah.
you have something like that.
It's like a
but
nice
it's
red
still
wine.
burning in my chest.
yeah.
And there's other
Yeah.
other whiskeys, other scotches for sure that don't do that at all. So it's very interesting.
I should have brought a handkerchief to mop my
Yeah.
brow here later because this is gonna
Yeah,
it's gonna be warm. It's gonna be warm.
cigar to unpack.
Cigar, yeah. Oh, thank you. So what? Sorry, what is this? La Estrella Cubana, Connecticut. Estrella Cubana.
The guy always just butchers them, eh? When you
Yeah, I feel like that's not how that's said at all.
it's most likely it's not. But what are you gonna do, right? Especially when you're
Just not linguistically competent. We got a few folks on already this evening, so
Oh,
that's
folks.
good.
Chad's here.
Justin's on, Chad's on, James is on, and no bad days.
Oh, no bad days.
Yeah, awesome.
No bad days. Said they were coming and they're here.
That is perfect. Oh, that is
So-
a beast. That is girthy.
It is.
6 inches by 60 ring gauge.
You got garbage.
That's a big beast.
I was trying to think back to the what were those big ones we had? Those
The Alec Bradley Texas
Lanceros.
Texas
that were like
Lancero.
7 by 70, I think. Because
Yes.
you had to buy this.
Yeah, we had to get
Which cutter? You bought-
the black
you
one,
bought this cutter. Where's the You bought this cutter for?
like the freaking circumcision
I
tools.
don't
Because
remember why we did that. why we bought those. I thought
I think it was just cool because it was the biggest cigar they
I think
had.
that's what I did. I went into Cedar Jim's and I was like, "What's the biggest ring gauge cigar that you have?"
Yeah.
And if you know, like oddly enough, 70 by 7 is quite a bit more product. And it's a fairly cheap cigar, right? So bigger is not always more expensive.
Not always
so
more expensive, not always better. What do you think the best way to cut this is going to be?
So I used just a guillotine cutter when I cut mine. I don't know.
I think you're probably right. Because there's a 60-inch ring gauge or 60 ring gauge. That's probably too much for a punch cut.
I was just going to say there's going to be too much left if you were to do a V cut.
Even for a V cut, yeah.
There's going to be, but
straight cut it is.
I think so. That's what I mean. That's all I had to at home, so I didn't have all the fancy.
Okay.
You know, you would pick this up. This fancy thing. This does both.
It does,
V
yeah.
Cuts and
yeah. I'm not really sold on that.
I am. This thing is
Not
mint.
too sure.
Like, look at that. Why wouldn't you be sold on that? It fits right in there. Might rip the table off when you try to use it.
Well, that's just. I think.
Look at that.
Oh,
You're not sold on
that. That is pristine. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
It's an absolute gem of a piece of
It's
tooling.
funny because when I bought this, the lady's like, "Don't put your finger in there, whatever you do," and I was like, "Well, that's just ridiculous. Who would put their finger in there?" But then when you're here and you're trying to get this thing to do what it's supposed to do, your pinky finger does it lines right up with that, and you could have a really bad day.
That is one thing for sure. When you get into watching some of the social media and stuff around cigars and scotches, there's some high-end equipment for consuming both, like some high-end punch cutters, so some high-end glasses. My algorithm is now cups. Holy
Really?
man. Like I
Cups.
Well, we've tried because we have a few different molds, and it's I've boiled the water and I've used this and I've used that and I've tried to flash freeze it or whatever as best as I could, and you just don't get.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some drinks and some high end bars where like the ice itself is worth like $20 if you want that square block of ice.
On the square,
I mean, maybe more than that.
There's like an actual course that some of those bartenders, well, they're not mixologists, I think, that they take specifically on how to carve ice.
Oh, absolutely.
Just so it looks good, right? So
what do you got? Rain truck, glove box.
So no
shoes, dirty shoes. Those are always the best ones when you can pick
like
those
the underside of a hay bale is what I'm getting.
Oh, sure.
Like if the ground was wet and you flip a bale over and a mouse has been living under there.
Oh man, I can just imagine cigar makers watching this, lining up, and be like, I gotta get a box of my cigars in those guys' hands.
Or maybe if you that like the dog bed. If you just unzipped the dog bed and pulled the pillow out from the inside and held it close to your face, that's what I'm getting. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Dog hair and wet hay.
One thing we do got to admit, though, the ones that smell the most putrid before you light them.
They usually work out the best.
Because we've had some that smelled really, really good. Those Filthy Hooligans dry wraps. No, that was the Shamrock ones.
Yeah, Shamrock was a Filthy Hooligan.
Was it? They were all the same? Okay.
It's the same cigar.
See, they smelled good, but and I actually didn't mind it, but you said it was like a mouthful of sour cream and smoke, and it was heavy.
I found it really bitter. So.
Oh, man. That smells good.
There's a few folks also. Robin Tangadol's on this evening. Good evening. Robin actually is he's the fella that. So a couple weeks back we had a get together, you and I, right?
Sure, we did.
Off camera.
Those are our sweatpants episode.
Well, the sweatpants, yeah. If you ever see me in sweatpants, just call a priest because I'm about to fucking die because I've given up, right? But anyways, hooked us up with that coffee. It's like a coffee liqueur.
That was good.
Absolutely fantastic. Some of the best things, best alcohol I think I've ever tasted in my life. It was
So thank you.
really, really, really enjoyable. Paired beautifully with, I can't remember what cigar we had last time. Was it a Davidoff? No.
What did we have? It wasn't one of these. No, we decided we weren't going to have one of these.
Yeah, no, we
because they
wanted to
hadn't
save
been
these
seasoned.
because they were potentially still dry. Oh, that's
I don't
burning
know.
beautifully.
What's new, Justin? Not too much. I wanted to escape the house this evening. There's about nine under 8 years old running around over there, and 4 of them are identical. So it's chaos.
Family made it through harvest season okay, though?
Everybody did. Yeah, no injuries. Nobody left.
Nobody left. That's a good start.
That's generally what you fear.
If
right?
you can end harvest season with the same amount of people that you started with, yeah, that's pretty good.
I was doing something the other day, loading towards some lasso and bags. It was chaos with a lot of people there. Corey jumped out to come and help me. And the lady, she actually commented, she's like, it's kind of insane that like you guys aren't yelling at each other. And I was like, you know what? In the last few years of my
You're not moving cows, that's why.
Well, in the last few years of my life, I realized that if I want any help at all, because then you may as well just be silent because
yeah,
it's better than doing it on your own.
It's funny because we joke every time we have a spare Saturday or a spare Sunday, or maybe we're thinking we're going to get anything done around here. The father-in-law usually calls over and says, "Hey, let's go run the cows through." And I like to run the alleyway and get everything into the crowding tub, and because I'm just calm and I'm just like, "Hey, cows, want to come be sorted today? That'd be fantastic, right?" And they just do their thing, and everything's chill, right? But we went over last weekend, and my brother-in-law was just bound determined, like he's gonna work the alleyway, he's gonna work the crowding tub, and I'm gonna poke cows in the ass and give A&D, right? So okay, change it up a little bit. So just to make it extra special, the father-in-law went over there right at the very beginning and just cursed them all out, and just like every bad word in the Dutch language come out, boom, 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 really set the tone. And those cows were just complete assholes the rest of the day. And I was like, oh man. But that's nothing. That's absolutely nothing by comparison to the trip to Walmart today. That's for sure. I couldn't believe it.
I dread every single trip to town. No, I mean I don't mind going around town, heading to the city, stopping by a few people's places, picking up some things. But going into the city, I absolutely dread it. 2 reasons. 1, it's going to be expensive. 2, it's going to be frustrating.
Well, I mean, you would think if you're going to go in an aisle, right? You just stay on the right, and the other person stays on the right. But no. If people are coming towards you, they're going to come directly towards you. Probably take the middle of the aisle, so
Sure.
You can't go one way or the other. And then I was looking for cornflakes of all bizarre things to get. I think Carmen's making some crispy chicken or whatever. She needs some cornflakes to just crisp it up a little bit, right? And I'm standing there and I'm watching this couple, and they've even looked at me. They made eye contact with me, and they can see that I just want to be right there. And the box of cornflakes is right. It's right there. Do you think they would get the fuck out of the way? Like, just pull over to the side. Like, it's not like a single lane highway or anything like that. There's room for 2 carts and 6 people, and they're taking up the whole thing, and just like so inconsiderate. And it's just, I can't believe, like, for the last few weeks, anytime we've been in Grand Prairie, Costco's been nuts, Walmart's been nuts, and I don't know if it's Christmas or if it was Halloween or like what's driving that rush, but I'm seeing more and more people in these retail settings, and it's just nuts. Like, just no consideration for anybody else.
That's my biggest watch when I go to town is how people can't leave anything on the shelf. So at some of our family get-togethers and things, have this discussion because there's definitely people in my immediate family and my extended family that cannot exist without filling a shopping cart.
Can happen. Yeah.
Like,
make it worth your while while you're there.
I can
right?
go to town with the idea of getting something specific. Not really sure where I'm going to find it or if I'm going to find it, but I can go to town with this in mind and go to 7 or 8 stores and then leave town. And I can actually leave town and go home and make lunch. I don't have to get lunch just because I'm in town. I have no problem doing that.
Right. Yeah.
But there's people that can't, they refuse to get a to-go cup of coffee. They're going to get that at Timmy's. So that's why that line is always 40 fucking deep.
Yeah.
For a shitty cup of coffee.
It's not even a good cup of coffee. Yeah.
Even worse breakfast sandwich if you're unfortunate enough to need to get that for breakfast. And then sales, right? Well, it's 15% off. You can't pass up savings like that. Well, fuck. I don't know. If you don't need it.
Yeah. You probably, you're still spending money.
Right. You can probably pass it up. Pretty much thing that's on the shelf. It's all junk. You can leave that shit there, right? I mean, everything breaks right away. A seat there, it was supposed to be a universal seat. Okay, the one on my back was no good, all ripped up. Well, this thing's $160. I'll just get it, whatever it was.
Doesn't attach.
It fit, but it failed within the year. The plastic. I mean, I don't keep my 1981 backhoe in a heated shop.
Right.
So the seat gets cold and warm and cold and warm, and you sit on it.
Contracts lots, right?
Made out of just total. But I mean, of course, that's I forget which live stream we had done where we had talked about this. If you want to go down a conspiracy route, this assault on the West to keep us consuming. Remember that live?
Yes.
Talking about electric motors and things.
Talking about junk, yeah.
This shit, it's just
everywhere.
C can after C can after C can of shit, and they're just filling the shelves, and it's all junk. It's all absolute junk. So you're left with frustration there too, and we're in this weird cycle. At least I am, where you can't break out of it because the light for $12 is absolutely no fucking good. Because if you were to go to an aftermarket truck shop, the same light is going to be $186.
Sure.
The same size, same dimensions.
Same.
But same lumens and everything. We think, well, I'm going to get a real steal of a deal, and by the time you get this piece of shit home, it fucking doesn't even work.
Probably broke in the box.
Rattled inside enough.
It broke in the sea can on the way over from China.
It absolutely does, right? So that's a big part of the frustration when you go to town is how tooken you're going to get on even new stuff. I was talking to a mechanic about off the shelf. There's a battery equalizer of all things on our tractor. So our tractor is 24 and 12 volt.
That's a thing?
It needs 24 volt to run the DEF system and the starter, and it needs 12 volt to run everything else.
That's handy.
The front battery charges off the alternator, and the back battery, or vice versa, charges off this battery equalizer. Well, of course, it fails. Can't even remember now what it was. It was a few $100, maybe $3, maybe $6. Maybe
Not free
no
by any means.
Idea.
Yeah.
But so I drive up there, and I had the old one in my hand. I had already looked online, and if I wanted to buy 10, they would be about $100. You'd have to buy 10, right? Wholesale pricing. So that also pisses you off.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a 900% markup on this thing at the dealer, but at least the dealer had it.
Yeah.
That was a win.
That's a start.
I want to take my old one back because there was a core. I said, I will bring it back up, but I don't know for sure if this is the problem. So I want to be able to hook the new one up. If it works,
sure. Yeah.
Great. But if it, and I want to be able to hook my old one back up too in case I find something else. So we did all that. It did work, but I was talking to him and he said, like, yeah, I get it. He said, I bought two alternators and both of them were failed in the box. Like so you go through all the time of replacing the alternator on your truck, just to fucking find out the one didn't even work out of the box.
Right.
And he was the foreman of the shop. Like, what do you do, right? So
yeah.
And it's funny too, like these people behind the desk, they get a lot of flack, but they have to understand too, right? That when you're peddling really expensive junk, and especially if you don't have it, like there has to be an outlet somewhere where you're going to just see like people just careening into each other on the highway. Like you can't go through these days.
Oh, isn't that something? I regret the straight cut.
Is this out?
Well, no, it's not that it's out, but I cut too much. Got down below the cap.
I got
and I'm beeping here.
You got an emergency. Mine keeps going out. I don't want that. I want this. Mine keeps going out. I also recently I had to order a fuel pump.
Okay.
That's another frustration. So actually, this I mean, it still pisses me off because it's people in town that are responsible for every fucking problem. This thing I ordered, I checked the Purelator app.
Yeah.
Pretty neat that there's an app that you can track all this.
You can find it. Yeah. See exactly where it's at.
Loaded in, I think, Barrie, Ontario. There's about 7 or 8 check-ins on the app. Bing, 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 in and out of these different sorting facilities. Bang, it's on the plane at wherever and off to Edmonton.
Should be there lickety split.
I'm watching it bounce around Edmonton. Ding, ding, ding. This sorting facility, that sorting facility. Thinking, fuck, I mean, this is awesome. I'm going to have this thing in a couple days. Check before I go to bed. Bang, back on the plane, heading back to fucking Ontario.
Why not, right?
So now I'm invested in this as a pinball game, and I'm thinking it's actually kind of funny.
Now it's got a carbon footprint.
So yeah, and a massive one, the fucking near rivaling our PM there. But we got bounces around Ontario a few more times, comes back to Edmonton, bounces around just as many times, finally gets on a bus, I guess, and does make it to Grand Prairie. The next day makes it out to Height.
Wow.
I get this little box, no bigger than that punch cutter or that cigar cutter there. And it's very well labeled. And I'm thinking, was there nowhere in the chain where somebody fucking looked at it and was just like, I'm standing in front of a bin that's going back to Ontario. This just came off the conveyor, but it says Height. I'm not going to put it in the fucking bin to go back to Ontario because every time that was scanned, I assume somebody scanned it. I don't think we're there yet where the package lines up completely and gets scanned and shut off.
I think there's a person.
Somebody handled it. They scanned it with their little thing, and
yeah,
but they didn't read anything.
We're talking about Canada Post here, right?
Well, this was Purelator,
but still, same context, right? So definitely people oriented, right?
And I just think that what a waste to spend your day so mindless and so uncaring that you wouldn't even visually with your eyes check that this thing should be. And if in fact all the protocols were followed, why does something have to leave Ontario, come to Alberta to be shipped back to Ontario, to bounce around a few more days to be shipped back to Alberta, and then finally loaded? Like where's the breakdown in that? Because certainly through COVID and just post COVID, that's all you heard was everything was backed up,
backlogged. Yeah.
Well, fuck, if you're sending the same part.
What was that? Was it the Suez Canal?
Mm-hmm.
Panama Canal? It was one of the canals.
Suez.
Was it Suez? Yeah, I can't remember. That ship was turned sideways in there. That sure screwed everything right up, hey?
It sure did.
Holy man.
Sure
I still don't think we've ever actually recovered from that backlog to date.
No, some things got marginally better, but like I say, if you have an entire workforce that is so mind numbed or beaten down to not give, like, zero fucks given, absolutely zero, and it seems to be almost no matter where you go. And it's funny because when you finally do find someone who can help you, you really, like, you talk about it. You tell people, like, oh fuck, go to this place and see this person, because it's like becoming such a rare anomaly.
But on the manufacturing side, though, like, that's very inconsistent. Like, if you order a part, it's coming out of China, it may arrive in a week or it may arrive in 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
You would think that ship's going every day. You're probably not paying for shipping even. That's the other thing that I don't understand. Like, if I want to ship a toothpick from here to Edmonton, it's going to cost me $50. But I can ship tractor parts from China that, like, they have significant weight to them and not pay a dime until it's moving in country.
It's truly amazing.
That's messed up.
That is truly amazing. I was talking to a guy from Prince George. He needed 5,000 bolts building a Quonset, like one of those bolt together. He said through Fastenal, it was like think I got the number. He did 7,000 bolts. I think it was $4,000 to
Right.
Fastenal.
That's
So
a bolt company. That's what they do.
So he phoned the manufacturer in China. He said it was like fucking $800 American, and that was delivered to the port of Vancouver. And he did have to pay a penalty because their minimum order is 50,000 units. He only needed whatever 7,500 or whatever, and the penalty was like $20.
Oh, whoa, that's
So
crazy.
And so with shipping and everything, I mean, I think guy just 7,000 little bolts to build an arch rib or like building a grain bin or whatever.
No doubt.
Rip down with your car and
Have at her.
fire them in the back and save yourself $3,000.
Why wouldn't you? Take the wife, go for dinner in Vancouver, come back and build a Quonset.
So he was talking. It's actually cheaper to buy sugar beets grown in the Ukraine, processed in Poland, sacked and sea canned, delivered to Montreal, than it is to buy sugar beets in Alberta.
That's wild.
Because he's looking into this. Like he's short of feed, he's trying to feed his cattle. Also, what the hell did he also bring up? Soy out of the Philippines, I believe.
There's so much of that though. Like I just even the other day I went through the IGA, a jug of milk or something like that. I did. I needed a jug of milk and I wanted an apple pie because I'm just a glutton and I needed my fix. But the apple pies of the IGA are right across from the rotisserie chickens. And I just can't help it. Like, I just glance over. Why is a rotisserie chicken $7? Because I know for me, I buy that chick for $2.79, maybe $3, whatever. Depends on how many I get. So I'm already half the price of a full-grown bird. I haven't even cooked it yet. Then I got to feed it. Then I got to butcher it. And then I got to cook it. And then I got to package it. And then I got to pay somebody to sit at the till and ring that through.
Yeah, and that's just a lot of spices on it.
Right. Yeah.
Spices aren't that expensive.
And I'm just like, how does it work? How is that even possible? I don't know. I don't even know how that even works. Like, it's the same with the sugar beets. Like, there is a cost. There's a cost for that tractor to go up and down the field, to seed it, to go back up and down the field to harvest it. They're going to take losses while it's in the drives here. There's going to be taxes, excise fees, all that stuff. And it's still cheaper than the stuff we can grow right here. How?
Well, at some point, there's going to be a massive course correction. And I kind of, when you watch the insanity that had happened over, say, the last 5 years here with the stock market, the housing, the interest rates, mortgage rates, I thought maybe that would have been a time, if there was ever going to be a time in history to reset a little bit. But what did we come out of it with? $130,000 dually trucks. That doesn't. I don't think it gets you a dually anymore. That gets you like a regular one.
I think it gets you 3/4 ton diesel maybe with leather.
We didn't learn nothing. We've never learned anything. Never learned anything. Interest rates hitting. What did Corey tell me? She was looking. If you're to buy a new car, I think it's like 9%.
The insurance rate? Oh yeah, probably.
But if you buy a Lincoln, it's 1.9%. Why the spread? I have no fucking idea. But if you're buying
Lincoln
a
has
new Explorer, it's like 9%. New Lincoln, 1.9%.
Lincoln has a whole incentive program around purchasing. So their theory is that once you buy a Lincoln, you'll never buy another vehicle. You'll just buy Lincolns forever and ever after that. And that's what they're trying to honeypot you.
Interesting.
They're just trying to get you in. So then they got you, right?
Well, I know Dodge had ran a huge.
Yeah, they ran 0% forever, right?
They had run a huge.
Because they're like, at 100,000, you're going to put about 15 grand into the front end of this piece of shit. So we'll just give you 0% right now.
Well, it was just like there was just a shift. Everything was like all the crew trucks and things were Fords, and then all of a sudden it was just fucking like everywhere you looked, it was Dodge. Longhorns and Laramies and just everything was Dodge. Dodge trucks everywhere. Every welding truck was a Dodge. Every flatbed was a Dodge.
But I'm of the mind that so we just went through. It's not a recession, right? But we've seen what do you call that? Inflation, like record inflation, and we just more going out than what's coming in. Why are we even still allowing Longhorns and fucking Laramies and all this whatever top of the line luxury goods to even come into the country. Because let's be honest, anybody with more than 2 nickels in their pocket, seemingly that's worked in the oil and gas industry, anyways, just can't fucking help themselves, right? It's like an addiction. They're like, oh, I gotta have leather, I gotta have a sunroof, I gotta have air conditioned seats and a heated steering wheel. I gotta have that, right? But those are all, no wonder we're how many $1 billion in debt as a country. Like, whatever the political side, right? The political side is definitely a piece of it. But at the end of the day, the public is still borrowing. Right?
Oh,
the government's borrowing, and that's wrong. But the public too is like,
absolutely.
I mean, hey, let's
people
just
are not making
finance everything to the till. I mean,
decisions.
I know so many people that are like 1.5 grocery bills away from just fucking losing it all. Like they're like,
yeah, that's not good.
If they go to renew their mortgage right now, they might just like, I don't know, a better investment might be a divorce lawyer because they're going to lose it all anyways, right? Like,
yeah, no, that's a very very good point. I asked my wife one time. I said, we were going through. I think we were just driving through a parking lot, and I looked at her and said, "Do you think that fucking GM actually brings in anything but Denali's anymore? Because everything was Denali Yukons, Denali trucks, Denali everything." And yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's a fact. I was over at a colleague's house the other day, and he lives right beside a fella named Sheldon Abel, who is the salesman at Ken Sargent in Grand Prairie. And when we bought Carmen's vehicle, we tried to go to Ken Sargent, just because they're local, right?
Yep.
And my wife's family has bought. I think every vehicle they've ever bought has been from there. So why wouldn't we go support them, right? Anyways, we put a whole build package in, and months went by, almost a year went by. And then finally he phones and it's like, yeah, no, like we haven't even built your vehicle. It's like, it's not even in chip. Like, we're not welding on the frame yet. Never mind, like, coming on a train and going for delivery. So it's probably going to get bumped to 2024. And it was right around that time that we found an alternate vehicle in Dawson, right? So, but anyways, I was over at next door to his house, and he come out in the driveway and was BSing or whatever. And he was saying, yeah, he's like, you want a Yukon right now? I got 6 of them sitting in the lot. They're all Denali's though. So they're an extra, whatever, 20 grand above the price of the one we got. Right. And I think that's what it is. That's just pumping out luxury goods. Right.
It is alarming.
There's no more base model. Right. They won't even make them. It's wild.
I certainly don't think they bring them up to the Beast Country. Like, I don't know where you got to go to get one. I mean, they do exist. I mean, when I went to replace my truck that had gotten
Oxbow,
stolen,
Saskatchewan is probably where you got to go.
I went to them farmers out there. They do pretty good too. They always got to drive some jacked up Denali
maybe, yeah,
to get their house in Phoenix for the winter.
Yeah, but there was guys last year, anyways, they would buy their brand new whatever Yukon Denali, or even like a 3/4 ton Denali pickup, and GM makes you sign a contract now that you won't flip that vehicle in 6
months.
Yeah, because I mean, they could just turn that thing around and ship it back down to the States and make more money off of it. Whereas typically you think you take a vehicle off the lot and it's immediately lost $20,000 or whatever, like some arbitrary large number of money, right? Large sum of money.
Well, that's a really good point. That's another interesting flip that we've done. Like, when throughout history did something not depreciate? I was just watching the auction sale because, I mean, there's a few people that I know that are looking for short tractors, various sizes. So I like to look. When my little boy was born, I bought a tractor, actually, like the day before he was born. So about 5 years ago, I bought a tractor at an auction sale. It was a 4440. I made $29,000 for it.
Oh,
I was watching 4440 sell.
Oh, I wish I could have one of those for that price.
For $43,000. Without duals on the back.
Yeah.
Shocking. The mass hysteria that has seemed to have plagued the West, and I can't speak to Europe and Asia, and
Right.
but like, what has to be broken in your brain to go and pay somebody $20,000 over asking price for a tractor,
With how many tens of thousands of hours on it, probably.
right? And they say, well, you can't get them. I realize that because so unless you have a major malfunction where you blow yours up and you do need one, then you got to find something, right? That's undeniable.
Yeah.
But we've heard and we've seen so many times people like they're still just trying to upgrade or whatever. They're just trying to change, so they're willing to pay $30,000 more just to upgrade. And I'm thinking, like, does no one own a fucking wrench?
Right.
Right now, okay, if you can't get the parts, yeah, and you've had it, you have to keep the business going. Your cows got to be fed. If you got a few hundred head, you need a chore tractor. But to just upgrade into well, it's going to be an extra 50,000, but it's worth it. I don't know, and like 100% of the population did it.
You got to sell a few cows to make up 50 grand, right?
I found it very confusing. Like there wasn't anything. Aside from our 2 combines, I don't think there's anything on our farm that we couldn't sell for more than we paid for it. I really don't.
Yeah.
And like, it's just shocking. It's absolutely shocking. Why was the price of new allowed to triple? I mean, there could have been some intervention there.
There was a fella asked me that the other day. He said, why did you? I can't remember what it was we were talking about, but why did you pay so much for whatever it was? And truth be told, it was because I wanted it or whatever. I don't, like I said, I don't even know what it was. But he's like, well, inflation is 20%, but the actual cost increase is 100%. Like, price is doubled on something, right? So you buy one, and then one, you buy a spare for the guy that sold it to you, right? But inflation is only 20%. So where is that money going? Like, that baffles me.
Old stock items too. That's a real kick in the dick.
What's that?
Well, those gears you picked up for me.
Right. Yeah.
There's no fucking way anybody made those. Those have been sitting on a shelf.
Yeah, they weren't custom ordered. Like, that's just sitting there.
So they had gone up like several $100s from 2 years ago.
From the time they arrived at the warehouse, yeah.
But I don't believe that they're like, I think there's a finite amount left. And when the last one leaves the Case New Holland shelf,
so you don't think they're just not keeping up?
I don't think they are. Like, I think because I've tried to look and find out what other parts those fit, and there doesn't seem to be another New Holland part. Now, not to say there's not another machine somewhere they don't fit.
Sure.
There seems to be another New Holland one.
There's going to come a day when a machinist is going to be the trade to be, right?
I already see it. I'm fortunate my neighbor is one.
Yeah.
And I phone him up, take a picture. Hey, can you come look at this? Can you build this? Because it's $900 and 7 weeks away. And then it's like, yeah, I can probably build that for $300. So then he takes it, he's got it, does all his measuring with his little trinkets and gizmos and gadgets, and over the weekend, and then on Monday, before he heads off to work. Actually, I think he might even be considering going full time.
Yeah.
Just right off his farm now. There's so much more work to do.
Who's your neighbor?
His name's Derek Kitchen.
Margaret's husband.
Absolutely, yep.
Margaret come by now. It's probably a month or better now. I think the weather, I shouldn't say the weather was still nice because it's nice today. But anyways, so we had kittens. And we gave them some kittens, and they took the little cage or whatever. And she come by, and she had a big stack of his business cards. Oh, okay. You want to build anything? Oh, my husband. She was really upselling him, right? Like, he can build anything. Like, doesn't matter what it is. Like, he's the man. And I was like, oh. I didn't realize that was your neighbor though. But
in fact, now that he comes up, I think it's his birthday party tonight. Guess I'm not going to that. I couldn't have anyways.
Well, I mean, not now. Yeah.
Yeah. He said it was Saturday, but he didn't really tell me what Saturday. So was that last Saturday, this Saturday, or next Saturday? Anyways, well, I'm sure he'll be fine.
I'm going to have to take a wander down the road there one of these days and see if he can build me a set of bale forks for the old Massey.
Oh, it's pretty good. Like, he's done quite a few things already. Yeah, that was interesting. Like, he was buying feed. And as I do, I get talking to people. What do you do? I'm a machinist by trade.
Yeah.
He said, well, fuck, can you re-groove my rollers? Because I've called around Grand Prairie, and they're just like, well, what's your PO number? What company are you with?
Right.
And I'm like, no.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how Grand Prairie
I'm
works.
a fucking
right?
farmer. Oh, we don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what do you mean you fucking don't do like? You know, I
And that's
you
the
know,
thing.
I'll fucking pay for it. I won't make you wait 190 days.
I was to say that.
I'll fucking
That's
pay
what
you when I
pisses
pick it
me
up.
off. That's what pisses me off. You can
Is
roll
my
in
money
there
no good?
and pull out a fucking roll of $100 bills and pay for it right now, or they could wait. Yeah, like you say, 90 days or whatever it is to maybe get paid.
To maybe get paid.
To maybe get
Fight
paid.
and get cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
When the company goes out of fucking business,
somebody will
someone buys them out.
dispute that invoice for unreasonable stuff, right?
Anyways, I had bought a new set. I think it was $1,300 for the left roller and $17 for the right because one's slightly longer shaft. I mean, they're identical, but slightly longer.
Yeah.
So I mean, I had these kicking around, and I think Southern Alberta maybe was the closest place. So you ship a fucking 10-inch roller. It's not massive, but it's kind of awkward and heavy. So you try to ship that prick, and they're going to charge you $900 to regroup them and ship them back. So you're going to be probably the cost of one new roller into it anyway. So I just bought 2 new ones.
Right.
And I thought I'll figure something else.
Because you're going to probably need to do work anyways. You're going to need to replace it eventually, right?
You are. So yeah, you only get like 3 regrooves out of these. So you are going to need a new set at some point. Yeah. But anyways, I had to sit there, and he said, well, throw them in the back of my truck. I'll see what I can do. Took them, did them, called me back, charged me, I don't know, I think $800. So I saved all the shipping, all the fucking frustration, he did a really, really
all
good
the
job.
Fooling around. Yeah.
He's done, and all just by, because he asked me, he said, well, do you think there's going to, do you think there'd be enough work for a machinist on farms? And I told him, I kind of feel bad now. I said, I don't think so, because the machinery's getting newer and shit, and there's like used farm parts, and like on this new combines and shit, I don't know what you'd fix. Like you pretty much got to get John Deere out and get John Deere specific parts.
Yeah.
But then we had augers and things in our combine where roll pins and cotter pins and shear pins and shit had, the holes wore out and stuff like that. So I take a picture.
The entire rest of the parts is still good,
right?
Just that tiny little piece.
Take a picture of it, send it to him. Can you fix it? Oh yeah, no, we could weld that up and machine it back down. No big deal.
Yeah.
And new part is $1,900 and 4 weeks away, or $900 and done tomorrow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I want to go over there because he's bought some new machinery, like machining machinery.
Oh, really?
Like when I was there, he had his big lathe set up and his milling machine and stuff, and he was showing me all the different stuff he was doing and working on.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cool.
That's a guy that can really, we've talked in the past about, the communal skill set, right? So having a guy that can raise chicken, having a guy that can raise pork, having a guy that has a dairy cow that can, make butter and cheese and things like that. But the machinist that can, like the guy that has the skill to actually build something out of nothing.
Well,
that's
absolutely
invaluable,
blacksmith, right? I mean, the blacksmith was like the hub of any town. Where everything that kept everything
absolutely
going. And it's funny because somebody was asking me the other day about my mill, and I was like, well, if you go look at it now, all the shafts, all the like bearing holders and things, most of them have been rebuilt by Derek. And like he said, I can't make it out of the same mild steel they made it out of, because that's just not a good idea. So what we'll do is we'll make it out of, and then they carry on with the fucking numbers, blah blah blah, whatever number steel. I don't understand it. They do. And he said, like, this will outlast the machine now. Like, your machine will be destroyed before the shaft is no longer usable.
Right.
And it's, a third the price of this fucking piece of shit that you're going to get at New Holland anyways. And wait 7 weeks for.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah. Wait 7 weeks for it and the wrong part shows up. Yeah. We missed a few comments here. Chad says he absolutely refuses to go grocery shop, and I lose my freaking mind over the inconsideration of people anymore. Kids running around and screaming, families blocking aisles, can't handle it. James says it's the prices that blows his mind. Absolutely, yeah. And Chad said the tractor he bought last December, new, has gone up almost $50,000 since he bought it. Holy
yeah,
man.
it's nuts.
That is crazy.
It's absolutely nuts. But it's absolutely believable.
And then
I mean, everything did.
NFE said, yeah, 2015 to 2020, same Kubota tractor, literally over double. And that's been painful for us because I mean we set up shop here in 2017, and I just bought like an acreage tractor at that point, like a 40 horse open cab, like antique tractor. No, it's not an antique tractor, but I mean, borderline antique tractor, right? And always we've been on the lookout for that unicorn tractor it's got a cab, it's got 80 horse plus, front end loader, grapple, bale spear, 3-point hitch, and PTO, and it, like so that we can do multiple things with it, but somehow do that for less than $50,000. Like that is a true unicorn now, right? So I found a fellow last year that had well, maybe it was early. I think it was early this year over by TP Creek that had I think it was a 4240 or 4230. I think it was 4240 John Deere tractor, front end load. Didn't have a 3-point hitch on it, but it had everything else. And he wanted about $36,000 for it, but it hinged on the sale of his property. So he needed to sell his quarter of land with the house and everything on it. And I'm still waiting on that unicorn. Because, well, I don't know what he's selling his place for, but it's not happening. And I'm thinking by the time he sells his property, that tractor is probably going to be worth probably $20,000 more.
It is shocking how much more things are. Like,
I'm hopeful that he'll still come back and say, "Yeah, we'll honor the original price we agreed upon." But I mean, I think I'd be foolish to expect that, right? So.
Yeah, well, you never know. I got a pretty sweet deal on a telehandler, so there's some people out there do exist.
I mean, yeah, but that wasn't without some. I mean, you needed to rub some lotion into that puppy, right? Like it needed some work too, right? Like it wasn't beat up, but
it ran. It was all functional.
It ran. You probably you got it for significantly less than what it was worth.
So. Yeah, I mean, but there are people that exist that have things that they don't need a lot out of it, and they want to see it go somewhere where it's going to be useful. But I give up mostly on looking at stuff. We were hoping that we could maybe upgrade a combine, but
useful. That fucking pissed me off today. So I told you we were going to town today, right? We're going to go to town for a birthday party. And then we're going to go to the birthday party and go to Costco to buy, because my wife's on a meal plan, right? She's trying to lose some weight and to eat a little bit healthier. And so some of that means that she's buying food off farm, which is a little bit foreign to me. I'm usually like, hey, we've got meat, we've got potatoes. We don't need to go to town and buy groceries. But, she gets this meal plan every week from this lady and prints out a whole thing, and then she's got to go buy all this list of ingredients that we don't grow. It's just not going to happen, right? So we got to make a trip to Costco or some grocery store. Anyways, we get in the driveway, we're in the truck, we're just about to point out, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we got this Home Depot credit card. If we don't use it in like the next week, they're going to cancel this Home Depot credit card, and it's like 0% interest or whatever. So it's, for 18 months, you can put something on this Home Depot credit card and just pay it off whenever, right? So if you're making big purchases, doing big things, whatever, it is maybe worthwhile doing, right?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, we should buy doors for the basement, because when we built the house, we put drywall up, but we didn't put doors in, and we didn't put the ceiling in, and we just really didn't finish it, right?" So Charlotte's bedroom doesn't have a door. The bathroom seemed a little uncivilized, but the bathroom doesn't have a door downstairs, right? And she's like, "Oh yeah, we should go buy doors." I'm like, "Holy fuck, really? Okay, whatever." I'm already kind of a little bit like irritated at that, because now I'm not going to the birthday party anymore. Now I'm going to go to Home Depot and I got to figure all this stuff out, right? So we get, okay, I'll go in the house, I'll get tape measure, I'll measure all the doors. And she's like, I come back out and she's like, "Well, aren't all doors standard?" I was like, "Well, no, like the front door is 36 inches. Like the bedroom door for Finley's room is 36 inches because that was originally going to be a long. Our bedroom door is, I think, 34 inches. Downstairs, the laundry room and the furnace room are 32 inches, but the bedroom doors are 30 inches. Every door in our house is different. Like, I don't know who was thinking about this when we designed the house, but anyways, they're all different. So then I'm like, okay, I reconcile myself. I've got the tape measure, I've got the measurement. We're going to Grand Prairie. We're going to buy 3 doors, and we're going to finish putting the doors in the basement. We get halfway to Grand Prairie. She's like, oh, change of plan. I'm like, what do you mean change plan? Well, she's looking, flip through the buy and sell.
Sure.
On the way to Grand Prairie. Oh, I found this rustic piece of farmhouse furniture. It's basically a buffet or a hutch or whatever, but it's like this high. Like, it's not like full height, like a big china cabinet or anything, but it's put this high. And they took the glass out of the doors and they put chicken wire in it because that's the thing now, right? So she wants to buy that for $120. I'm like, okay, we'll go do that, and we won't go get doors. She's like, well, you should at least go and price outdoors. So we go and I price outdoors, and they're actually on sale. The tag says it was $285 for this door, but it is now, what was it? $198.
Can't pass up savings.
$198. It was that. Now it's this. So then the fella comes over. Oh, can I help you? And I was immediately like, I know more than you, but whatever. Sure, you can educate me. This says was, and it's now this. Is that you just lowered the price, or is it actually on sale? He said, well, it's on sale. I was like, okay, perfect. I'm cool with that. When's the sale over? Oh, I don't know. Do you think you could look that up for me? Because I can't. I've got this. I shouldn't say stupid. It is a nice piece of furniture, but an unplanned cargo in the box of my truck that I didn't intend to have. That now I can't haul. I cannot haul these doors today, so I can't purchase them today. And he's like, no, like you can purchase them today, and you can come back and get them another day. I'm like, oh well, that seems kind of retarded, but I'll just come back on Tuesday and I'll just buy them on Tuesday. He's like, well, yeah, I can't tell you if the price is still going to be the same on Tuesday. I'm like, well, why not? Like, why can't you just tell me? Like, when's the sale done? He's like, well, it's not like a Home Depot sale. It's like a manager special. So whenever the manager figures they've sold enough doors, then they'll just put the price back up. And I'm like, well, that's really inconvenient. So I'm like, anyways, Carmen calls over. She's like, oh, Charlotte has to go to the bathroom. So then just come and meet me. So I ran out, figured out, trip to the toilet with the kids or whatever. And then I was like, fuck this place. I'm out of here. Like, whatever. I got my measurements. I know they have doors. I know what the price is. Hopefully on Tuesday, it's the same price because I can't hold these doors today. And then Carmen's really bent out of shape because she's like, this Home Depot credit card is like, it's going to expire, the 27th, which is still like, what is that? Like 9 days away, right? We got time. We have time. But she's like, no, like he said you could buy those doors today and they could store them. Like, we got to go back to the Home Depot. Oh my God. Okay. I'm like, I'm not going back to the Home Depot. We're going to go to this birthday party.
I'm not going to let that guy win, me.
We're gonna go back to the birthday party, and I'm gonna whatever. The kids are gonna go around, get all their wiggles out. I'm gonna eat a piece of pizza, probably get heartburn, which I did get heartburn, quite bad. I still have heartburn. And then we'll talk about going back to the Home Depot. So I go back to the Home Depot after the birthday party, and Buddy's still there. And I say, hey, how you doing? We're back. We're gonna buy some doors. I'm not gonna take them today, but yeah, we'll pay for them today, just so that I know I get that $198 deal, because $285, that's, by the time you buy 3 doors, it's a lot of money, right?
Absolutely.
You're basically getting a whole door for free. So it makes sense. And he's like, yeah, sure. We'll buy them today. You come back and pick them up tomorrow. I'm like, no, that's not what I said. I said I'll come back and pick them up on Tuesday. He's like, no. We can only hold them. You can buy them today, but we can only hold them for 72 hours. I was like, why didn't you say that to me 3 hours ago when I was here the first time? or I would have just figured that out. I would have figured that out by now, and I would have made arrangements. Anyways, no, let's buy them today. And so now Sunday morning, 8:00 in the morning, I'm going to be parked at the Home Depot, picking up these 3 doors and getting them home. And so I'm going to make a special trip. And that's why I hate going to town. That was a really long-winded way of saying it.
That was a good story.
It's a really long-winded way of saying that's why I hate going to town.
But it's excellent. It fit. I'm glad you suffered that for tonight's episode. Because when I put this up on that community thing on YouTube or whatever, I don't even really know why I put this. I was so fucking mad over something that I've now forgot about. I was
yeah, because it was 3 months ago.
I was trying to think of the last time that I went to town and what fucking stupid look or something that I.
You are like the Alaskan bush people. Hey, you don't go to town very often.
Very rarely.
You've never strapped a rotary saw to your forearm.
I've never done that. I'm very, very fortunate though. I have a lot to do at the farm, so I don't have a lot of idle time out there where I'm just like wondering what should I do and get the ears. Well, I'll just run to town today. And then my mom and Corey are both very fucking willing to go to town because they like to go shopping. We got to pick up groceries and get shit for the kids and everything. Anyways, I mean, my mom, she'd go to town 10 times a day if she could. So it's fine. I can usually phone and be like, hey, the part's set aside at Pat's, it's set aside at Fang, it's set aside at John Deere. I'll even ask him, like, when's the next time one of you two is planning a trip to town? Because there's a fucking few things I need, and I'll be fucked if I'm going.
It's probably later in the day.
Right, yeah, I'm not going, right? I'll just do without. I'll walk around in sock fucking feet, glue some fucking cardboard to the bottom of my feet if I don't have shoes. And in fact, yeah, they picked me up some shoes the other day.
Well, that was nice.
I will not fucking. I don't enjoy anything about it, right? The little bit that I get when we take the kids on that little summer trip, we try to do that once. We also try to do it once in the winter, take them to the water park, take them to a indoor fucking pool at a hotel or something.
Yeah.
Right? Just because, I mean, the egg side is a little tough on them fucking kids. It is for all the kids. I mean, they spend a lot of time in a combine. They spend a lot of time in a grain truck, a lot of time in a tractor. So, whatever, they get themselves a little bit of a treat. But for just that day-to-day. Now, when I do go there, I'll jump in and I can't. I'll get it at some point here. I'll get it. Wow, what the hell would piss me off so much? But I can get. I can wander through. I can wander through PB Mart. I can and just fucking glance around at things, just see what's available. I mean, it's interesting to find. I didn't realize they had recoils just on the shelf here. I didn't realize that for your little Honda engines. Oh yeah. Anyways, fuck. Yep. Okay, well, they're right here.
That's handy. Yeah.
If I ever wreck the fucking string again.
Yep.
I mean, I got Corey to order me 150 feet off Amazon or whatever, so I never have to. Unless the spring and side breaks, I never have to worry.
Yeah.
And I am of the fucking.
It happens.
Persuasion that I just wrap the fucking thing around anyway. I wouldn't care about the recoil anymore.
Right.
Still to avoid going to town, right? I don't enjoy the place. I don't enjoy the company there. I think that most social issues originate in urban centers and they're urban fucking problems.
Oh, yeah.
And they're, like the whole Sodom and Gomorrah thing, where you just don't need to fucking be there. You don't need to be around it. Just stay the fuck away. Because someday the good Lord's going to send a holy fucking fire and purge the fucking earth of this.
You've been doing a little reading in the last 3 months there, have you?
I don't. I guess I just don't get it. I don't get it. You watch. Well, this was a long time ago. We were in town. I don't even know if Corey and I were married yet. But we thought, fuck it. You know what? We never go out. We'll just go to the keg. And I think it was like a fucking Tuesday evening. It wasn't a holiday. There was nothing special about it. It was lined up to the fucking parking lot.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be confrontational, but I just turned and asked some people around me. I said, like, do you guys not have, like, where are you from? Oh, we're from Grand Prairie. I live in fucking where Cobblestone. And then I asked them, I said, do you guys not have stoves? Like, do you not have kitchens? And then fucking the one guy was like kind of a dickhead because he's like, well, fuck, you don't have a stove? I said, no, a good point. I do have a stove. It's in height. And we are just here for the day. And we thought, fuck it, it's 5 o'clock. we'll just grab
Right,
dinner,
right.
and then we'll go home, right? I was still working in the patch at the time, so I mean,
Yeah.
fucking whatever. I was eating out all the time. Anyway, it didn't matter. But I was confused that these fucking people, well, they're the type of people who will pick up fucking A&W on the way home for dinner.
Yes.
Like they won't fucking, or they'll go out and eat, or they'll skip the dishes or Uber Eats for every fucking meal. And I'm thinking like you're driving home laziness. Like buy a fucking cookbook. What do you do with your oven's probably full of fucking towels.
At least take a rotisserie chicken home with you from the
Jesus, you
IGA
know.
for $7.
Anyways, apparently everybody in the lineup did in fact have a stove.
I can't say nothing because we went to Montana's the other day.
Nobody appreciated being asked the question if they had a stove or not.
No, I bet they did.
And we didn't even eat there. I fucking left. I mean, I told her too. I said I do believe in my life at some point I will stand in line for fucking food.
Yeah.
Like I think we're just on the wrong path as a Western society for sure, but even fucking globally. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to do it. I don't need to stand here. I have a fucking beautiful home in Heights with a nice fucking kitchen.
Yeah.
Stop.
Well, I was on the cusp. Here last week. And like I said, we went into Montana's, and I can't remember why we were in Grand Prairie. I think one of our nephews had a hockey game or something like that. We were going to go in and watch a hockey game, and so we took all the kids in, and yeah, of course they got to eat, right? So now it's a large group. We're a group of 4 adults and six kids or something like that, right? So you go to Montana's, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's probably going to be a 15-minute wait. Is that all right?" That's not all right.
No,
like that's not a good time. Like,
no, it's not.
It's really not enjoyable to sit in the porch. But what was funny about that was O'Connell's were there. The Lock, like half of Beaver Lodge was in Grand Prairie going to Montana's because they just want whatever a shitty hamburger.
Right? Yeah, some terrible ribs.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I don't get. And it's funny, so many people that come to get feed, they always have they either have their own meat and produce, or they're of the same community where you can get it. Right? You put your name with the Evan Carrots.
Yeah.
Right. And like almost exclusive, or like fully, almost everybody agrees that fucking going to town is a waste of time. Like you're getting an overpriced shitty meal.
Yeah.
And
you care for top up?
Yeah, please. And the service I found has mostly been pretty good. But did you dump that? I pulled that away too soon. I didn't catch the drip.
Don't worry. Just whiskey's good for the electronics, right?
Absolutely. Sorry.
It's all right.
Send,
I'm going to put a drop of water in this.
Send the bill to your boss, I guess. You are the boss. Bill yourself for your computer.
Yeah. Just a drop. I'm surprised. We've been doing this now for 2 years, and that's how much water we've used.
Well, there's a lot of them we didn't add water to, and there's some that we had when you used to bring the ice bucket up here where we toss it in ice.
That's true. Just a hint.
I was thinking about that when we took our trip to the mountains. I
You
should
want a
have
little splash?
I should have refilled her, but the water was coming down the hill so hard and fast, it was pretty much just sediment. So I didn't think we needed that.
Well, this is from that Athabasca Glacier that's getting smaller and smaller every year. We did bottle some. The one time we went, I can't remember what name of that waterfall. Sunwapta Falls, maybe. It was over that part of the world, and brought it home thinking, "Oh yeah, this is going to be the bee's knees." And the amount of floaties in that water, like there was like shit crawling in that water. Like it wasn't just like particulate. There was stuff. There was things that were alive in that water.
Some prehistoric things.
Yeah,
coming
I
to
was
life.
like, I don't really think I want to get like the whatever typhoid fever from this. So we just dumped it out.
No, you don't want to mess with that. I gotta think about why the last time I went to town.
Chad says he's suspicious the heartburn wasn't from the pizza. It was the thought of going back to Home Depot. It actually wasn't the thought of going to Home Depot. It was because we started the day in Grand Prairie in Walmart. Like that's Like if you want to fuck your day up, just go to Walmart. Like we knew that going in. Like if you're gonna, that's where you're gonna start. You're really setting the bar in the wrong place. And that's where I just like, yeah, you run into they have no concept of space, time, direction of flow, anything. It's just chaos in there. Just absolute chaos. I don't know if that's any.
It didn't get any better.
It didn't. Well, it's not that it's bad. It's not that it's bad, but it didn't.
Didn't take the bait tack away.
It didn't soften the flavor, and that's really the intent. So with those high ABV whiskeys that are typically over 45%, oftentimes that the volatility within the whiskey can really take away from the subtle notes or the tones within the whiskey. And so putting a drop of water in there is supposed to soften that so that you can actually really taste some of that stuff. But this is just a strong flavor. It's not that it's volatile, right?
But another thing, like you can't even see the water working like you can with some. Like maybe they're.
Well, I got a little bit, but yeah, I usually do
like
see
some
it.
They really.
It's kind of
like a smoke in there.
Almost like smoke,
to roll around, and this kind of just like, the water just sunk to the bottom and the whiskey's floating.
Yeah, just like flashed off right away. Yeah, if the light hits it just right, it's doing its thing. But oh well. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised I'm not all like lightheaded because it's been, like I say, it's been months since we had a good drink and a cigar. And
well, yeah, I've been waiting for the weather to come in. We had minus 20 like 2 weeks ago for 2 days. Or
we had what was it, last Tuesday morning. I got up. I left the house at 4:00 in the morning because I had to drive to St. Albert, and it was minus 17 here. I got to St. Albert, it was +7.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, it was here.
Like we had
wintertime,
it, and I thought it was, I was actually kind of content. I was ready for it to be because, going through this snow 3 inches, and then it's going to be a +7, and it's going to be a mud hole, and everything you're trying to do is now 10 times more frustrating and hard.
Yeah.
So I had the yard all floated, the ruts beat out, it was all smooth, it was ready for it to freeze.
You're ready for it to freeze and just be packed and hard for the winter.
And then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't like this. Also, we were trying to blow some air at some of our bigger bins, just because when you go through the falls that we've had, I mean it was like 27 degrees when we were combining canola.
Yeah.
So you fire that in the bin, and then all of a sudden it's 27 degrees, and you're thinking, oh, I mean, I know it's dry, and I know it was 27 degrees when I put it in, but I'd really like to see it.
But how does that
start to go down?
How does that affect it? Like right now, like so you're 75 or 80% humidity outside, and you're pushing air into those bins. Does that negatively affect the grain? Or?
There's something. It takes like there's guys in the States that are even Canada too. I guess that are using monitoring systems to. Even if the grain's too dry, when it's high humidity, they'll try to add moisture to the grain, right? I don't think it actually does. Like not here, because when it was really foggy that day, when it was like 100%, I shut it off.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not a fool.
Yeah, you don't want to.
But when it gets down to,
might as well dump
I think
water
right
in there.
Today is 56 or 65. I actually looked on my phone. I mean, that's not going to do anything.
No.
I think it's got to be probably like 70, over 80 even maybe. That was the thing too. We were waiting so long for the air temperature and the humidity to drop enough that we could just leave this thing running. Because the other thing you don't want to do is turn them on and off. Because once you get that hot air moving up, you don't want to like get it halfway up and then it out, and then all the condensation and shit hits the roof, and then it runs down the wall. So right away after this is done, you have to start taking some out.
That makes sense.
It's going to push all the. Like I think it's around 30 degrees that moisture starts to leave the kernel anyways. So while the grain itself isn't getting any drier, the moisture that has wicked off of it is moving there too.
Sure.
So you gotta.
Sure.
And it's
still in the bin, right?
We don't have the efficiencies like a full floor aeration or roof vents or even big enough fans to properly do this. So what we have happen is it just channels up our bin.
Yeah.
And it ends up at the top, either around the walls or right at the top. So once we get this done and all those cables read a sensible amount, like 8 degrees or something, then we got to take some out. But the weather changing has really thrown a wrench into that. Like normally that's a 1 or 2 day process. Now it's been like 2 weeks.
And so there's no way, like on the top of a bin, that you could put like a whirlybird or something like that. They do that. Yeah, that's a thing.
Ours just well, talk about fucking frustrations of things. They just don't. They don't come. The roof vents don't come with them, or the roof sheets, unless you request it.
Right.
And in reality, even a small bin should have a roof vent. Even 1,000 bushel bin. Why not? Fuck, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, your house has fucking 8 or 9 of them across the fucking roof.
It actually does, yeah.
So why would you not do this with a bin? But well, it costs extra. Well, let's fucking be real. If you built a jig to stamp the roof, cut the fucking square out, and sell me the other thing for $70, the bin package is already $20,000 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
So you need 6 of them. Charge me another fucking $160. It won't even know.
Yeah.
And then they'll be there and it'll be right.
Negligible.
But it's
cost,
always
right?
and it seems to be ag specific. It's always just a fucking. You just can't have everything right unless you start shelling out more money, right? And you can't even do it all at once. It seems they want you to have this list of fucking add-ons, so you just get madder and madder as you
cost
go down.
Plus, right? Yeah.
I was watching a guy actually on TikTok. He was calling the buttons in his combine fucking poverty buttons because there's all the provisions in the console. And there's all these punch outs where you can punch the fucking thing out, put the button in there if you had the feature.
Right.
And the fucking armrest is just loaded. There's 19, 20 fucking spaces for buttons.
Yeah.
More than you would even know what to do with. The machine doesn't even have the fucking capacity to fucking use all these buttons, maybe for lights. But that's what they do. And they do it in ag like hard.
Yeah.
Our tractor has fucking buttons in it that are there. You can push them and the light comes on. But like I say, there's no fucking component on the tractor for the button.
My pickup's like that even though, right? Like there's buttons I can toggle in that pickup that nothing happens.
Don't do anything.
Nothing happens. Same thing. It lights up, but it doesn't do nothing, right? And you're like, well, like what is this? Like, is there a microchip that's missing here? Or is there actual like an end device that's missing? I have no idea. I'm like, well, maybe I should take it in the shop. Maybe something's actually broke. I don't know. Like, but
crazy.
Push that, nothing happens, right?
Crazy symbols that there's no way you can possibly fathom what the fuck it was supposed to be.
This is a hieroglyph, right?
So,
Chad said we should be cutting this stuff with Crown Royal. Oh, that's not even premium gasoline.
It's not fit to drink. No.
No purple sacks around here.
That Pendleton. That is actually a pretty good.
Pendleton Rye is actually really good. Yeah. And there's a fellow I work with that actually, Jeremy, that gave me that bottle. Because he's got no stomach for it.
Yeah, that's right. That was a while back.
Once
I think we actually did we not just have that for Alive?
We did, yeah.
That was one of that must have been the only one-off we've ever done that wasn't Scotch.
That wasn't well, no, we've done some that wasn't Scotch because we did rum and we did an Irish whiskey one time.
Oh, we did so.
But mostly Scotch. Yeah. I was thinking one day. So very recently, my wife, she come to me and she said, my friends are going to go to Dallas for like a 4-day kind of getaway. One of her friends had like a 2 back-to-back educational conferences to go to. And so in between that, they were going to have this 4-day getaway and go to Dallas and go, I think, watch a basketball game and a football game. And I don't know why girls want to go to that stuff, but I mean, I wouldn't even go to that stuff, to be honest. But anyways, they were going to go. It was going to be a good time. And that's right around the same time that Charlotte actually got sick. But when we started planning this thing, I was like, man, like, she goes to Dallas. Robin and I should just plan a trip to go to Scotland.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, wouldn't that be epic? Just go on a distillery tour across, it'd be fantastic. But anyway, Charlotte got sick, and I pressured her into canceling her trip because this was not going well. This was not going well, and I was in the doghouse for a while. So you'll have to forgive me if I don't bring this up. You and I going on a Scotland tour.
So that's the whole reason I can't go
for maybe for maybe a year because I got to let that storm blow over a little bit longer.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I've told several people, man. Like if I hit it big, we're going. Like we're going. If I was to win the lottery, that would be the first thing on my bucket list to do. would be to just spend a good amount of time cruising around.
Oh, yeah.
Just be a bottle of scotch by the time you got back on the plane.
Just pickled, hey? Just a pickled herring.
Actually, one of the guys that chimes into some of my my TikTok lives that I do, Andrew, he's from Scotland. He said the other day, you send me your address, I'm gonna send you guys a bottle.
I remember you
He's
saying
from
that.
Scotland,
Yeah.
so it's pretty cool.
I wonder what would ever happen if you just mailed a bottle of scotch.
Well, we're gonna find out. I'm gonna get a hold of Andrew, and we're gonna see. Then I was like, oh, maybe I should send you some beer from our local. And I was like, yeah,
Send him a case of
I'd rather he didn't.
Molson Canadian. Just terrible. Or that Grain Bin Brewery.
Some AGD.
You ever had that anything from that Grain Bin Brewery?
I had some of the. Yeah, I had some. I mean, it's all okay. I'm just really not much of a beer drinker. I don't.
Not your thing.
No, I know.
Hmm.
I'm not much of.
I went there over the summertime because Broken Time over Rio Grande there. They put out a Hascat berry cider. I think I might have told you this story or
I didn't
before.
hear.
But anyway, so they come up with a Hascat berry cider, and my wife, she loves that Melomel wine that they make out there, and it is really good. It's really good, but she also really likes cider. I was like, well, whew, man, like we got the best of both worlds here. So I was like, as soon as they found out they had it, I was like, I gotta go. Like I gotta leave. I gotta leave work early, and I gotta go there and like get this. And I'm just gonna get so many brownie points. I'll be husband of the year. Anyways, I show up there, and the lady behind the counter, she's like, "Do you want to taste it first?" And I was like, "No, like I've had the wine, and I've drank cider for years. I've been drinking cider since I was like 12 years old back in the old country, right? Like no, we're good. I'll take a 6-pack.
Do you know who I am?
Good. Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal, right?" Anyways, I get this home, and then just the sun shone from my wife. She was just beaming. She was just so happy. Oh, it's so fantastic. Oh, I can't believe you just thought of me like this. And I was basking in the brownie points. Anyways, she cracked this can, and it was fucking terrible. It was absolutely fucking terrible. And it sat in our fridge for probably 2 or 3 weeks, and then I just drank it out of spite eventually because I was like, it cost a lot of money. It wasn't cheap, right? I was like, well, I'm not dumping it down the sink. I dumped the first can down the sink because it was bad, but anyways, I ended up drinking it out of spite. So anyways, be cautious about the craft breweries, and when they say, do you want to taste it first? Just maybe take a sip, because it wasn't. It was bitter. That was what it was. It was bitter, and not bitter like a beer. It was bitter like, I don't know, like sulfites. You know what I mean?
Turn your face inside out.
Yeah, like it honestly sounded like I had been mixed with a little bit of bad well water or something like that. So.
Yeah, I don't.
Anyways, I don't know if Craig Aldi's watching or not, but there's a little bit of feedback. Maybe sweeten up your cider, and you'll get a few more customers.
Oh shit, that's funny.
He cornered me during the summertime. He's like, "Oh yeah, you like whiskey, hey? Like I'd really like to come and maybe sit in on one of your live streams one time. Just come up to the study and have a drink with you." I was like, "Oh yeah, you should. You should bring some samples." But I might have just ruined that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm sure you just made the bottom of the list.
Yeah, I mean, well, whatever. I mean, you got to appreciate honest feedback. It is what it is, right? So.
But you're right. There's some pretty putrid shit floating around that people are claiming to be.
It's all trial and error, right? Everybody starts somewhere. You gotta have something that tastes bad, and then tweak the recipe, and then from there you end up with something that's palatable, right?
Well, that's one thing. I was hoping to. I was looking for, what the hell was I looking for? Can't even remember. But anyways, I got a hold of this guy around Westlock who malts barley.
Oh yeah,
And I thought, holy shit! Like, Because he'll malt small batches too.
Right.
And I thought,
Send him a
shit.
couple sacks of
Well, I was gonna
the old.
load up a tote bag, 2,000 pounds of barley, and take it down there and get them to malt it
Yeah.
and bring it back if I could get a hold of.
And he had, I think his wife found it on the buy and sell. He got an oak whiskey barrel, and so because he's making his home brew or whatever he's making, he's like, oh man, now I've got this like real oak barrel. It's all charred on the inside. It's like an barrel.
Mhm.
I can pour all my whatever swill he was making into there,
Sure.
right? And it's just like going to be so awesome. And after a year, I'll have this thing full, and it's going to get so much flavor, and it's going to be the greatest thing ever. So he was dumping and dumping and dumping and dumping into this barrel, and then the one day, I think his wife just chewing his ass is like, you got to clean out the garage. Like you just like, it's just a mess, right? And so he goes over there and he goes to move that barrel, and he just like goes because it's supposed to have like I think a 200 liters or something in it, right? And he's like, holy man, I must have been working out. And that barrel just like, he's like, oh fuck it, it's been leaking this whole time. So he just keeps dumping what I don't know how many hours of distilling and like how many pounds of corn that he's put through this distiller is. And it all leaked out into the floor drain in his garage and down into the city sewer system, right?
That's too bad.
So that sucks to be him, but that's really unfortunate.
Well, there are times in life where you want to run a pressure test, because if you're going to fill a
Well, yeah, you should at least fill it with water first, right?
100 couple hundred liters in there.
Yeah, make sure the seams hold, right? So what do you think of this cigar
This is
so
a good
far?
cigar. Like if you were gonna have a box of cigars that you were gonna just smoke,
I think it's it's unoffensive.
It's
right. It's very mild.
Unless we're just we've just like reached a level where we've smoked enough cigars that mild ones are, or that some seem easy. Like there was nothing, and it was smooth the whole way. Like they often change in thirds.
Yeah,
I didn't even really notice I was this far into it.
No, it's been very, very consistent. I think I only had the one relight. Maybe was it two relights?
Well, I struggled pretty hard to keep this thing
but,
going. And it burned fairly uneven.
Mine burnt pretty even. Like it's pretty good. But yeah, no leather bound books, no rich mahogany, no coffee, no heather notes or honey or any of that weird stuff. But just kind of consistent all the way through. So I think if you wanted to have a cigar that you routinely had, it was just kind of to fill your time. This is a pretty good cigar actually for that.
It definitely is.
Yeah, but I'm glad we let him sit for.
It's different than the one I smoked at Thanksgiving.
It definitely makes a difference if you're just pulling it out of a box, right?
So.
Yeah, mighty fine. Mighty fine. Yeah, we'll have to see what because we're going to get snow. It's going to happen.
No.
We're probably going to have a lot more opportunities to do a few live streams throughout the winter season here than we have had because we have had like an absolutely glorious summer and fall.
We had fairly decent weather throughout the fall, and then we had that plague 2 weeks ago where everybody was getting sick and not sick, and it really drug out. It was about a 3-4 week where people that I knew were sick, and then I got sick, and it just went round and around here for a little while. All different too, all different symptoms.
Yeah.
Some flu seasons, everyone's like, yeah, no, I had that too. Bad headache, runny nose. nose, sore ear, whatever the case may be, sore joints. This was like everything, and most people that I talked to experienced it quite differently.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure even about all that. If we're getting weaker as a group of people, or if I think I am for sure. Because
Yeah.
I get the flu when I
Well,
worked
that's
on the
right. I
rigs,
remember
but
you always saying
I
like
don't
you never
remember the
got
last
sick,
time I
right?
puked.
Yeah.
And for the last 2 years, I've like been violently throwing up.
What was so strange about that this year? I mean, our whole household has been through puking and shitting and like chronic headaches, and I've been just like, I don't know, like just bouncing off the walls,
Just making it.
just dodging. Like I've had a few days where I've been like, maybe I'm getting a little bit of this.
Mild discomfort.
Yeah, minor inconveniences, right? I just don't feel quite 100%. But I've never had like the kids just shitting, like full blown shitting. Like I almost had to call a vac truck. But like shitting and then puking at the same time, like he was like, what receptacle do you want here? And I felt so bad for them little kids, like just like because they just puke and puke and puke until there's absolutely nothing left. And you couldn't get Gatorade into him, couldn't get soup into him, couldn't even get him to drink water or do anything, right? Because they just feel so shitty, right?
Well,
and I don't know how I dodged it, because like if my niece come over, like I got one niece that I don't know what it is about her and I, but if she so much as looks at me sideways, I'm fucking sick the next day, like just sick. And this year I really haven't had anything.
Maybe it's just your time.
Maybe I don't know if I've just got enough COVID boosters in me. I don't know what it is.
Well, that's why I refuse to come over here. That I was like, I can't in good conscience go there right now, because Charlotte, I just got out of the hospital, and I was like, there's no way. I'd feel so bad if I fucking tried to do a nice thing and bring the fucking plague to that house.
We did have a rough go, and it probably wouldn't have mattered if you would have come. We would have blamed you anyways, but regardless, it happened by default, whether you came or not. So it didn't matter, right? But so Finley actually was she was puking and shitting first, and then well, like the whole extended family, they were puking and shitting. And that's what we originally thought was wrong with Charlotte, because she was puking, and so I was like, oh yeah, no, you've got bad cantaloupe from again going to a birthday party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go to a birthday party, sure, yeah. Oh, you're sick. Yeah, no, we know exactly what that is. And it took 2 or 3 days until we figured it out. And it's like, oh no, like you're going in for emergency surgery. It was a whole thing. And we drove by the hospital today, and she's just like, oh no, I've been there. Oh, I don't want to go. I was like, oh yeah, they make good lunches there, don't they, Charlotte? And she's just like, no, they make terrible food there. She's dietarily traumatized by the hospital. Like I can't believe how terrible the food. Like they brought, like the one day we were in there, and they brought up. So this kid literally just had major surgery, and they brought her this beef stew, and I swear to God, it looked like a cat threw up on the plate. It was like, how could you serve that to a human being?
That's
it's not even humane. Like it's not even food. And so then the nurses would come, and they'd be like, well, like, are you guys even eating this? Or are you just going to bring food in? I'm like, well, she has no appetite. And I'm looking at that, and I no longer have an appetite either. So nobody's going to eat this stuff. Like, yeah.
We told them when Corey was in having our daughter there, I told the nurses, Corey, I said, don't waste the time. Like, take her off the fucking meal plan. I will bring her something every fucking day, and we're gonna try to get out of here as fucking fast as humanly possible. Not that there's anything wrong with the nurses. The facility's nice, it's all great, but the fucking food is terrible and it's uncomfortable. You want to go home.
Yeah.
And we can take care of ourselves at home. I'm not one who wants to. It's funny because I know people who try to fucking stay. Right? I mean, they're getting catered to in there. Hey, someone's gonna help them sit up, and someone's gonna I
Yeah.
am not that fucking way. And
Not me
neither
at all.
is Square. I would get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here as fast as
I was
humanly
ready to
possible.
leave the second day. Like, send me home with some morphine. Like, and we'll just take care of this business, right? But no. Well, what I thought was ironic was that the second last day in the hospital, actually, so the dietitian came through right at the very beginning, because of course she wasn't eating, she wasn't drinking, and they got to say, okay, well, you need this and this and this, basically in a bag, and they
Yeah.
put it in you to an IV so that you don't start spiraling downhill. But then once she's off the IV, then the dietitian wants to come back and talk to you about food, and I'm like, you can't, like, did you see what's on this plate? You can't talk to me about anything.
No
Like,
way. I feel the same way.
like, you're just like, no, like, she's like, well, do you think you need some, like, no, thank you, just go, like, just go. We have lots of meat, vegetables,
Right? Yeah.
you know, we have everything.
Shocking.
We have everything we need to live a healthy lifestyle. This was an unfortunate and untimely bump in a road, and we're going to do our very, very best to forget not only how traumatic the medical experience was, but whatever you brought in those trays. Just, that was a punishment. It was an absolute punishment. So no,
They should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Like
Well,
Alberta Health Services.
and they're done. Hey, like,
Whoever is responsible for the nutrition in Alberta Health should be fucking ashamed, because it is. I have never encountered
atrocious.
a person who is just like, yeah, no, it was okay. It is absolutely
yeah,
fucking appalling, the shit that they do. I'd like to meet one of them and ask them why, right? Like, is it just that educated, try to dissect it by sodium and calcium and all, and this nonsense of vitamins and stuff, and try to create some, like you said, I don't think there's even a fucking kitchen in there. So where do they send it all up from fucking Calgary?
They
microwave it.
They bring it in from somewhere.
That's
yeah,
better.
They bring it in from somewhere. Yeah, because there isn't a kitchen there. But I honestly, I kind of think we'd have been better off to just drive the kid to Peace River and just get food from the jail. I think they eat better at the jail.
Well, they probably
than
do.
They do at the hospital.
They probably do. It is not. It's unbelievable how terrible that it is. That's almost has to be done on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, I went in because I have to go in every 5 years for my class 1 physical, and I raised a question with some concerns I had for some various things. And he said, well, have you ever had a blood test? I've never had a blood test in my life. Don't actually fucking plan to ever get one again. But I went, and right away, it's just like, well, your cholesterol's not great. I'm 35 years old. I'm sure it's all right. I'm a relatively healthy guy. Oh, your iron's not that great either. Do you eat red meat? And fucking, that's what he said to me. And I was just like,
do you eat red meat? Yeah.
Like, fuck. The guy's known me my whole life.
Yeah. This is who I think it is. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah.
Yeah. Is there another kind of meat?
Right? Yeah. Fuck, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Wild. But yeah, AHS is done. Hey, like, they're by 2024, I think they're gonna be like completely out. They're already starting. So I think the provincial government said there's going to be no frontline cuts, which you can't be, because I mean they're already on skeleton crews. Like, that's my wife works frontline on the ambulance, right? And so she sees it directly, but heavily loaded in middle and senior management within that organization. And I mean, if AHS is dissolved, all those people will have to seek alternative forms of employment.
Hopefully the fucking ones that are fucking creating meal plans don't want to.
I tell you, well, yeah, any bureaucracy in healthcare needs to be just cut. Like, there's a lot of fat to trim there. And I remember I think it was about 2011. It was 2011, because it was the year Carmen and I got married. They did a whole, like, just went through with a scythe and just trimmed all of the middle management in AHS. And for a while, it actually got quite a bit better. And then as soon as they started to just load up again in the middle, frontline services just declined. And I don't know how many times in a day we see in Grand Prairie and even here in the West County where we have this like red alert status where there's just no ambulance. There just isn't.
Yeah.
Right. And you go sit in that hospital in Beaver Lodge, and it's like, because after we got out of the not the QE2, but the Grand Prairie Regional Hospital, we had to have a couple trips back and forth to Beaver Lodge because you're dealing with Charlotte and ongoing pain control. And they put us in this one room in the back corner. I remember like 5 or 6 years ago, like that was all like taped off and like it wasn't even fit for human occupation at one point, right? But now it's all open again, and I'm looking like it's like something out of like a 1960s Russian horror movie. But this is our hospital.
Yeah.
I'm like, unbelievable. Like, I can't believe it. Like it's like lead paint chipping off the wall and like exposed asbestos in there, and it's like, oh, like this is where we send people with the intent of trying to make them get better. This isn't going to happen, right? So it's embarrassing. So you don't want to go there. So then you go to Grand Prairie. So the next day we're having issues again, and we're like, we're not going to Beaver Lodge because there's no doctor there. That's a travesty, right? The northern Alberta and doctors is just an absolute crime. But so okay, so we're just going to go to Grand Prairie because we know there's no doctor in Beaver Lodge. We'll go to Grand Prairie, and we're going to sit there. We're going to sit there for 4 hours until we can even be triaged, and then we're going to go and we're going to sit in a room in a cubicle and they draw a curtain, and we're going to wait another 4 hours for a doctor to actually arrive, and then hopefully we haven't died in that time.
Sure.
Right. Or whatever. Right? We hope something hasn't gotten worse, gone beyond, our ability to get better. Right. Whatever's going on with Alberta Health right now, it needs to be completely just like rip the Band-Aid off, start again, reorganize that entire system. And I don't know if that's regionalization or if that's like right now, I think the move is to just basically do it by department, right? Like ambulance will be one whole department, hospitals will be another, community health will be another organization. I don't know. I think that's going to cause some problems, but you got to do something.
Yeah, well,
it's fucked.
You're right. It has to be. It always confuses me too. And then there's that age-old battle between us and the United States, right? Like, well, fucking Canada's healthcare or whatever. And I was thinking, like, has anybody fucking used it that's actually standing up there preaching about how great it is? The one thing that's great about it is you don't get a huge fucking bill when you leave. Everybody's seen on those social media things. It was like $700,000 when they had a rough pregnancy or something.
If you were to come to Canada in the late 1990s, early 2000s, we could fairly equitably say Canada had a good healthcare system, and we contributed. At that time we contributed to Alberta healthcare, provincial healthcare premiums, and things were pretty good. I think it was like $40 a month or whatever we pay, to have healthcare. Now we don't pay directly, but it comes from income tax. But we still pay. It's not free. Mm-hmm. We still pay. But it's garbage. It's absolute fucking garbage.
I have not been like excited once with any of the shit that I've seen. And unfortunately, I'm healthy. I don't have pains. I don't have issues. No. I don't need to be going there. The few times I did, I thought, like, what an embarrassment. If someone was, and I don't understand why the issue hasn't been raised more. Like, is it super specific to rural populations where you sit for fucking hours and hours and hours and hours and hours? I mean, and to no avail, you go in there like, yeah, I know you'll be there. I go home. Oh, fuck, great.
Yeah, you literally heal in the waiting room by yourself. Yeah. Well, and the whole thing around, so Canada has this now. They've got assisted suicide now, right? Medically assisted suicide. But not just for like things that are like terminal. Like this is now it's like it's actually a question that doctors ask you. Like, I got an ingrown toenail. Oh, well, how do you feel about shutting her down? Like, holy fuck! Like, just give me a can of corn and I'll be okay. Like,
That's why I try to avoid it as much as possible.
Yeah.
You know that I try to avoid it as much as possible.
Just feed me a plate of that hospital food and I'll be done.
Well, I think Chad had one of the comments said they should feed it at one of their board meetings. You're absolutely right. They should. They should
They should.
In the legislature in Edmonton, that's all that should be at the fucking same food that goes to the hospitals should go to those fucking canteens.
Well, and I think that's well, maybe not the board meetings, but I know, like, I don't know how many, like Beaver Lodge is an example. That hospital was built in the early to mid, I think it was 1962. It was between 62 and 65. I can't remember. But anyways, early to mid 1960s, that hospital was constructed, and so it's like it's end of life. But I don't know, dozens of politicians have toured through there, and there's been talks about replacing the hospital or constructing some type of a medical facility there. And aside from the lead chip paint that they all see, they should 100% feed them lunch while they're there, so that they can see not only are the conditions terrible, but the things that are provided while they're outside of. I'm not going to fault the nursing care. The people that work there, they do care, but the services provided aren't geared towards wellness.
No,
right? So,
and it is absolutely fucking archaic. This is no bullshit. When I fell off that ladder and give the old give her a kiss on the way down, I really hummed and hawed about it if I was going to go or not. And
did you get stitches?
I did. Yeah. And here's the thing: I had to do that blood test anyways. So I went in and I was standing and I said, "Is it?" I kind of knew the answer, but I was joking. I said, "Is it possible to just get the blood here from the eye because it's coming pretty quick. It's coming hot.
We're already leaking.
If you get your little vial, we could probably fill 3 or 4 of them here right now.
Just let me drip into that thing.
So that wasn't going to work. So I said, all right, well, I know it's going to be a long time.
You can just wring out the Kleenex off your forehead.
I'll get my blood test while I'm waiting for the doctor to stitch me up. Not an option. We got to get that dealt with first. Fuck. That's not what I wanted to do, but hey.
Sure.
Fuck it. So here I'm sitting there, hours and hours and hours. And then I go in and sit in that little ER part of it or whatever. And I'm looking around at like Tupperware fucking totes and shit. And I mean, I guess you got to put shit somewhere, but you just kind of don't. You don't really. It looks like a military hospital, just out in a tent somewhere.
It is. Yeah.
So the dude comes in and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of rough. Oh, you'll need about 8." And we talked her down to 6 because he was by the time he got to closer to the. Fucking, how's she going? And I laid there like this while they cut the fucking stitches out of my eye. I couldn't, like, you can't write that shit.
No. Borat, like Kazakhstan.
True story. I held the light for the lady.
Unbelievable, yeah.
But anyways, it did get done, so.
And looks good.
Yeah, well, she said it would have been. I don't know. I think it would have healed better if I didn't put them in, but.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never would have believed that you would have to hold your own light. Well, he was working with my dad trying to fix something. Hold the light.
Yeah, quite literally that.
But that is a good idea that Chad had, though. A guy like the Alberta officials, even hospital staff to an extent. You should that's what they should have to eat. Shouldn't be an option. Then you could get a change.
Yeah, you probably would. Yeah.
I've asked some people in it's law enforcement, government positions or whatever, who totally agree things are bad. And I asked them, like, well, when you guys are having your semi-annual, your annual powwows, when you all get together and you fly down to Ontario, Ottawa, wherever you're going. Does anybody bring up any of these issues? I have 100% been told we're just there for a paycheck, man.
Really, eh?
And you know what? I mean, I guess I kind of get it. I mean, a lot of these things come with pensions. A lot of them come with decent pay. So why jeopardize it, Doc? Just ride it out. Hopefully, you don't have to use the same system that you know is terrible, that you have a hand in making terrible.
Pray to God you never need it, I guess.
And
right?
just ride her out till retirement, and then go get your treatment somewhere else that you can pay for it. Fly to Mexico and get your teeth out.
Oh, that's shameful though. Like our local MLA for a year, we had Wayne Drysdale as our local MLA, and he was Minister of Transportation for a while. And I mean, Highway 43 between Edmonton and Grand Prairie was terrible. Like it was a trampoline ride.
Mm-hmm.
From Valley View to Grand Prairie. It was awful, right?
Certainly, this side of the Smoky was like almost impassable.
Yeah. Oh, terrible. And then he was Minister of Infrastructure, and so I mean, he really held the purse strings on things like healthcare and highways and schools and all that stuff. And it's like, what did we ever accomplish by having our local representative actually be directly in control of whether or not those decisions could, or we could have some benefit from having local representation?
Well, and
didn't get anywhere.
And that's one thing though that like I refuse to believe, and I even refuse to even entertain the fact that any of these fucking buffoons have any say at all. I don't know who makes the ultimate decision, but that's the first thing we want to do, right? Write your MLA or whatever. They're just they're just there.
Yeah. They're
just seat fillers.
No, and that's where I think, like, honestly, I think government bureaucracy is where, like, that's where everything gets roadblocked, right? There are so many people that are employed, like actually employed within government, that actually do the work, and they lay up all of this stuff. If you think you're gonna accomplish anything in 4 years, it's just not gonna happen, right? It's not gonna happen. In 4 years, you might be able to convince somebody it's a good idea. But they're, but then they're going to ride on those promises, with the intent of getting reelected.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they're reelected, well, then what's the incentive for them to come on board and do a thing?
No, it's
probably pretty low.
There has to be a shadow group of aides or whatever you want to call them that are ensuring that bills are getting paid, things are getting done, things are getting maintained, things are getting built, projects are going through. But I do not give one ounce of fucking credit to any elected official. Yeah, they're all fucking meatheads. It takes even a certain type of fucking person to even want to put yourself through that shit. And I mean, it would be hard for someone to argue to me that's not the case. Like, who the fuck would want to do that?
But that's the thing. I think there's two types of people that get into politics. There's some people that maybe have an underlying agenda, or maybe like they just want to be in a position of authority, or people that genuinely want to do good. Like, there's one or the other. And so one is very self-serving, and the other one is just completely powerless to actually do anything.
Yeah.
Right. And ultimately, nothing gets better.
Well, and unfortunately for the powerless, I think that that trip is very short-lived. Once they realize the monumental task ahead of them to get it completed, then they just assimilate and they join onto that crowd of self-serving interests, right?
So you end up with a Grand Prairie hospital that's was that $99 billion?
100 million.
100 million?
Almost $1 billion.
Yeah, I keep saying billion, but it was
because it's a fucking astronomical number.
I can't even do the math on this, right? But I think it was supposed to be. Was it 60 million originally? Anyways, it was a reasonable number at one point. At one point, it was like a reasonable number, and then it just like tripled. But then I still got to pay for parking.
You're right on
That
that.
messed me up. Like I couldn't believe that. Like you go there and it's like, okay, well I gotta pay $8 to park here for 24 hours. I don't know how many parking tickets over the years I've got at the QE2.
Sure.
And ticket machines so that they did an operative so that people couldn't pay
Yeah.
for parking. No. That I love and care about has a medical emergency. This is a legitimate reason I'm being there. That's causing me a direct source of incredible stress right now. I'm not going there to read magazines and go to the gift shop and eat lunch. No. I'm having a bad day. You think I want to pay $7 for parking? No.
And
I really don't.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Also, the fucking options they give you are totally fucking insane. All three of my kids, when they were born, when I went to pick up my wife, I thought, fuck, all right, I only need 4 hours. They only pay $2 or whatever. Not one single time have I been successful at that.
Oh, you can, you
get 4 hours. You walk upstairs. 3.5 hours later, you're looking at your watch, wondering where the doctor is. If you can get, so you run back to home, you throw it, naively, you throw in another fucking 2 bits.
Yeah, there's no
4
option.
hours.
There's no option there less than 24 hours that you're actually going to see a medical professional within. It's not going to happen.
So I added up. I think I spent $36 re-adding money to this prick. And then, and then eventually I just got 24 hours, and I think 15 minutes later we were out.
I would be 100% fine if the provincial government said, you know what, we're going to charge you $50 every single year just for access to medical treatment, and that covered my parking fees. Like, I know that's quite a bit, but ultimately, I mean, we're using it.
Mm-hmm.
We're using it. Just charge me once. Well, whatever. I'll pay for somebody else to even go to the hospital. I'll pay for it up front. But the time when I need to be there, I don't want stress. I think that's absolutely criminal.
Well, the thing that I was wondering, not just to the medical system, but because we're on it, there's a whole bunch of things, public programs and stuff, where I wondered, like, if they just had a really decent controller, because what's the population of Alberta? Is it like 5 million or 7 million?
Yeah, it's like 4 million or something like that. I actually don't know.
So, anyways, I guess my point is, I wonder what the statistics are of, for health wise, of people that are in very fucking bad shape. Age doesn't matter. I mean, we know in our community there's some children that need incredible, intense medical treatment.
There's a specific demographic within Alberta where they need that intense medical treatment, but also that same demographic of people is not financially capable of being able to meet those obligations.
Well, like further to that, most fucking people aren't. Like, if you're saddled with that misfortune, and you're looking to get treatment that, say, monthly prescriptions that are $7,500 fucking dollars. Fucking nobody can do that. Nobody can fucking do that reasonably. No. And you hear time and time again, and this is what really fucking frustrates me, even in line with your parking, is how in the fuck in Alberta, of all places, is that just not covered? Because there's people like me who go to the hospital once every 5 years on average for a physical. That's it. We need 25 minutes for the doctor to fucking test your blood pressure and sign off on your little fucking ticket, sign it off wrong, so you gotta go to license center and fucking go back anyways to get because you didn't check the right fucking box, and you're too honest to go back into the parking lot and check your fucking self. There's a lot of us. I would say the majority, right, of the population is not intensely involved in healthcare, and yet we still hear time and time again, "Oh, this isn't covered. That treatment's not covered. That drug's not covered." So, like you say, you're $50. So we all pay because we see the services when we need them are just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So where is it all going? Where is this all going? You got, say, 4.5 million people paying into this.
Yeah.
And it's a complete fucking disaster. And then you find out that the people that really, really need it isn't even covered for them anyways. I don't think that's very good. And it should be as simple as, You can see, you can tell if somebody is in stress,
Oh yeah.
right? When like for and well, obviously we're going to cover that, right? Here in Alberta, we're gonna get this solved for you. Fuck, just on the amount I paid for parking in the last 7 years, they could have probably could have saved a few lives that they otherwise weren't going to cover.
I'm kind of a miserable prick though. We were, like I said, we were in there because what was it? 12 days post surgery. We'd already been released from hospital with Charlotte, and we go back in because she's having just like unbearable abdominal pain, and we think like there's a post surgery complication going on. We need to get her back into hospital. And so you sit in that waiting room in Grand Prairie, and there's a young fella goes in. We're standing right beside the triage desk, so we hear everything. So I've got no qualms about saying it because it's the whole fucking world could hear it. There's nothing soundproof in there, right? This fella goes in and he's like, "Yeah, you know what? I was fine yesterday, and then I went and got rest, just completely fucking wasted." And I woke up in my truck on the other side of town, and I went and talked to this construction crew, and I was still just absolutely blitzed. And so they gave me a ride home, but now my legs all swole up. I'm hurt, and my truck's all fucked up. I'm thinking, fuck you, you piece of shit.
They're all building,
like,
right?
Get the fuck out. Like, get the fuck. You're like. I was so mad. I was like, why does this idiot in sweatpants with a mullet, who's just drink driving and endangering public safety, probably ran into a fucking minivan load of kids and drove off and passed out drunken behind the fucking Walmart, and just woke up still drunk, but now his leg's sore, comes into the hospital, he's gonna tie up the healthcare system, and I'm sitting here with a kid that's like screaming, fucking, like legitimately needs some care.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you first?
I agree 100%.
Like, get the fuck out. Go home and cook some fucking chicken fingers and get over it on your own time. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's I was
100% agree.
I was pretty choked that night.
It was so. Yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean, like, your daughter was just out of surgery. Like, this needs to be addressed. Certainly, especially in children and the elderly. Like the people in the middle. These bad things happen to us too, but we should be able to wait. We should be mature enough, responsible enough, take enough pain that we can wait, or we can be honest about it if we are in excruciating pain, right? Or little kids and the elderly, they need to be looked at right away. We had sort of a similar incident with Emmy, my oldest, on Canada Day. This was quite a few years ago. We woke up and her eye was just like swelling up, and all I wanted was Benadryl. I just wanted to know if it was something she was exposed to, right? It was some sort of an allergy, or if it was something internal. Benadryl is most likely going to tell you that.
Yeah, you want to know that so that your kid's not going to be blind.
Day, nothing's fucking open. So I told Courtney, I said, well, she said, well, we got to drive to Grand Prairie. I said, well, we just stop at the fucking hospital, right? And this was me being naive because I hadn't been using the medical system. Because I was fucking healthy and single, and I didn't need to use the fucking
right. Yeah.
So she said, well, she said, guarantee it'll be hours. It'll be 3 hours before she even sees the doctor. I said, there's no fucking way. So now it's on. Now I got to prove her wrong.
Now it's a bet.
So we're sitting there, Canada Day long weekend. There's rodeo. It was funny you talk about the drunk because we're sitting in the fucking waiting room, and I told the nurse at triage, my daughter wasn't in pain or anything, but one thing you don't really fuck around with is shit close to the brain. Right? If you got if you got a bad ear infection, you got a bad throat infection, you got a bad eye infection, you don't fuck around with that. Because that's close to the brain. You can lose your eyesight, you can lose your hearing, you can fucking die.
Yeah, you could die. You could end up in a wheelchair.
So, whatever. She's not crying. She's comfortable, but it's swelling up. And at one point, her eyes swole shut. So I told the nurse that. I said, we should all I wanted was Benadryl. Okay, now we're here. We're going to see this through. And I could hear in the emergency room or whatever the fuck that is back there, an individual talking about how drunk he was, and that and because it's party weekend, it's Canada Day weekend, right? He was getting in a fight, and the doctor's explaining to him that you're very overweight, you're diabetic,
23
just-
bush lights in.
This shouldn't be. You shouldn't be doing this. He's like, well, you know, I had a rough week and blah 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 blah. So this person's getting seen, and fair enough, I guess. Whatever. But then who comes in is a fucking throng of people from the fucking rodeo with various rodeo injuries, fell off a horse or fell over the fucking riverbank or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that this doesn't need to be treated, but this is all stuff that you fucking guys did to yourselves.
You made a choice.
Right? Your leg is sore because you fell off a horse,
Yeah.
and you hobbled in here, so
Yeah.
you're not dying.
We're
Right?
aware of the risk, aware of the circumstance, aware of the consequences. Still made a decision.
And
to
my
put yourself
daughter
in
got
that
pushed
situation.
off for all of it.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, maybe fair enough. We knew she wasn't, like I say, she wasn't crying, she wasn't screaming, she wasn't in pain. But I didn't think that was fair, especially when the end result was he gave her a shot of fucking Benadryl.
Yeah.
And I even told him, I said, the only reason we didn't just fucking go to town is because it was another half an hour. And I thought this would be faster. This is a fucking joke.
Yeah. No.
I could have went to town 14 fucking times.
It's
by
criminal.
now.
It's criminal.
And then, oh yeah, here's a shot of Benadryl.
Thanks. Thanks for that.
You know, he ended up looking. He said, I think she might have got bit by a spider. And I said, well, I didn't know if it was that or a spark because we were sitting around the fire. We had
Sure.
fireworks.
Yeah.
You know, didn't know what it was. Was pretty 99% sure it wasn't serious.
But yeah, you know you're going to give him a shot of Benadryl. Nothing bad's going to happen, but it'll rule out whether there's something else going on, right? Yeah. I'm really struggling in the final third of this.
Like a cigarette.
You just
Oh,
took that one
rage.
all the way
Just
in.
rage smoked that.
I can't keep mine lit here in the final third for some reason.
Oh, don't do that. Holy shit.
So this is a 60 ring gauge all the way to the guts, eh?
I just took that deep. She started
I don't know.
OnlyFans for smoking cigars. Holy moly. Oof. Yeah, no, that rattled me. I don't think I'll ever forget that. That really, really choked me. Right? This is a shot of Benadryl. That's going to tell you. Is it a spider bite or is there something in her eye?
Yeah.
But I do hope to avoid the medical system. I think that I think that we've been bullshitted a little bit. I think that there are more natural remedies for a lot of things. I don't think that
You think
everybody
so?
with the flu needs to be running in there to get prescriptions for things.
Oh, no.
I really think that there's.
I mean, that's not even natural remedies. That's just go to bed, have some Tylenol, control your fever, eat some chicken soup when you get your appetite back. You'll be all right. You'll be fine.
well, the hospital's full of people who think otherwise.
Oh, I know.
What do we miss from Chad? Population of Alberta in July is about 4.7 million.
No, we were pretty close for not knowing.
$4.7 million, eh? That's crazy to think that a population of 4.7 million, in terms of the contribution to the GDP of the nation, is like 60%.
It's District 13 of the 100
Yeah,
Times, man.
yeah, no, it sure is.
It is.
Yeah,
But But that being said, we didn't choose where the resources were going to be, so we got lucky in that regard.
I guess. Yeah, we're a have province. We're not a have not province. We have the privilege to be able to complain about it. But yeah,
But fund allocation could be a lot different.
the fund allocation
and I think if it was
it
managed,
should be more equitable, right?
I think that if it was managed by people that could carry themselves from the start of from election day till they're done in office, if they could carry themselves, I think it could be a lot different, because you see things hemorrhaged all the time. You always hear stories of if you have a private business that needs to do something, say fix a manhole or something, they get it done as $1,200. You get the fucking city to do it at $12,000.
Yeah.
right? Because of a ton of, and they always have a ton of reasons behind it. And I'm
It's
just like,
usually administrative burden. Yeah.
Jesus, like,
Yeah.
why? Because and most people seem to be. I don't even think most people are happy, but they just don't give a fuck at all. They don't care one way or the other. They get frustrated at the end of the year when they
accept it for what it is, right?
I mean, we were kind of laughing the other day. Where our fucking finance minister at the time. Oh yeah, no, we're gonna have the budget balance all based on $80 oil. I think oil was $80 for 2 fucking days since then.
Yeah.
It's about 70 today. So where does that put the budget now? Right? And people, we give so much credit to this. Well, you fucking didn't do anything.
Well,
you stole a publication from the fucking the newspaper in fucking New York about Canadian oil prices. You jacked that and you put it into your 700-page fucking thing that somebody else wrote and you signed at the bottom, and you were wrong.
Really trying to put a lot of eggs in the basket of uncertainty in the Middle East, right? So Israel goes to war and they're thinking, oh yeah, that's going to drive the price of oil up beyond sustainably beyond $100 a barrel for the next 2 years. Well, no, that's not how that works, right? There's just way too many variables at play there. And certainly not in this country too, where it's not economic. Like there's no political appetite to maintain those kind of prices. Like our federal government right now does not want oil and gas production to continue.
No,
like they just don't, right? Well, I don't know. I think I'm just about done this thing.
Well, this one's just about
I'm
killing
finally,
me.
yeah. I haven't had any additional flavors until the final third, and now I'm just starting to get a little bit of pepper on the tongue. Finally, it's not as mild as it was.
I think a lot of that comes with like several relights, right? As you're reburning that smoke.
I think it is. Yeah, it gets a little bit bitter and spicy, but not necessarily in a good way.
Because I find that too with most of them. I would say 90% of them. By the time you're down to the last third, you're just finishing it up. The lips are going numb, tongue's burning, throat's burning. Although I did just deep inhale one whole shot there. That sort of finished it off for me.
Kind of gagged on it.
Enjoyable. Just kind of want to go home.
Yeah.
Have a shower.
You feel a little dirty now, do you? Oh, it's bad. So bad.
Write something down in a book somewhere.
Man, we're getting in this season. We're gonna have to turn the heat on in the shop here too, eh?
I quite enjoy it now. I was worried that you were gonna have the propane thing running, and I was like, "Fuck, it's gonna be hot." But
that's why I wore the big coat, because I run a little cooler than most. I don't quite have the circulation that some folks that were.
Well, I'm mostly cold myself.
Are you?
I run the undershirt and then the shirt and then the vest and then the
jacket. I got the undershirt, the shirt, and I actually put I got my woolen vest on this evening. But I picked up this. This is from 1936. This coat was made in the UK. Woolen herringbone tweed vintage coat that I got for $17. Just a win. Just toasty warm.
I wonder what it costs.
I think this probably $17. Yeah. So it's a win to me, but I thought as I seen it and I'm like, oh man, that's gonna make an excellent smoking jacket for the winter. For just this. This is just the perfect thing. Fits good. I don't know. I think if this thing could tell stories, what stories it could tell.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We crossed the 2-hour mark, eh? Anyways, we never even talked about the lunatic on TikTok.
2 hours. Okay, yeah. So what's that fella's name again?
So
he's
Noah from Alaska Bush people.
One of the Bush people.
I stumbled upon this for those who are still here. This is the good part. So I stumbled upon this on TikTok, scrolling through, and I had watched something about him and his brother fighting. Now, I'll admit that this is kind of goofy things to watch, but I don't have a lot of drama in my life at the moment, so I try to add a little bit, right? So
Sure.
what better way to do that than to watch two idiots fight on TikTok? Now, once you do that, your algorithm now changes, and you start.
Now you gotta see it.
Now you have to see it.
Yeah, now you're exposed.
So I remember when I was watching Alaskan Bush People.
So this was a reality show?
It was
Because I actually never watched
You
the
didn't?
show. I've
Okay.
never watched the show.
I want to say it made a few seasons. I think I watched one or two or maybe three, whatever episode this was. I don't know if I actually watched all the seasons either. I'd watch it when it was on. So there's a bunch of brothers, a couple sisters, parents, and they're like off-grid living people. Basically, they're just hillbillies dragging fucking junk into the bush. Like
Right.
the one idiot tried to build himself a fucking house out of saran wrap, and he saran wrapped it around a bunch of fucking trees and then tried to live in it. The other idiot drug a whole bunch of fucking rubber tires from the dump out into the pristine wilderness of Alaska and tried to build a fucking tire house.
Right. Like Three Little Pigs.
You know, I actually wonder. I had said to several people, my wife, I said, I wonder how the fuck this is even legal.
Yeah.
Because who the fuck is going to clean all this up? These idiots don't have jobs.
Well,
They're working off of that. The money from the show, and then the fucking oil money that Alaska gives you
Right.
for living there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they all had to go to court, and I think some of them served some time for fraudulently claiming it when they lived in the lower fucking 48.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so the brothers are helping their dad build this fucking cabin for the parents, and then I think their daughters were going to live there too. And then this other idiot, Noah, he's living in a tent because he's the brains of the operation, the scientist. And I remember, I'll never forget it.
The scientist.
There's weird things that he's got fucking bugs in jars and shit. Eh? Like fucking
Oh, yeah.
who the fuck was the? Maybe it was Jeffrey Dahmer or whatever. They all had all that shit in jars or whatever when he was a kid, and then
Sure.
anyways, it's total serial killer fucking.
Yeah.
setup
Dahmer
here.
was a taxidermist.
But anyways, and he said just one line. He's like, I'm working on something that's going to change the world. And I was like, fuck, you never even went to fucking school. Now, okay, maybe there's one in 7 billion that are prodigies, but it's not you. I can fucking tell you that with your nonsense about the way you're operating. So anyways, now he's on TikTok because I think the show's since been canceled.
You might be autistic, but you're not a savant, right? Like,
so and it's funny because he's always tinkering, right? Like, I mean, some of the lives and stuff, he's tinkering, and some of his things. I'm a content creator, is what I do for a living. So this is actually what this Looney Tune does. And he's taking shit, and he's like hot gluing a night vision thing that he bought on Wish to a fucking welding helmet that he found at a garage sale, and like sticking them together to create his own night vision and claiming that it's some new invention.
right.
And people are like,
So he's got X-ray vision now.
they seem to be like really buying into it because when I had messaged Stan about this, I said, fuck man, like he had a DeWalt skill saw,
Quarter skill saw, yeah.
fucking hot glued to a piece of PVC pipe that he wore on his arm, and
Like he's the fucking Iron Man.
well, he somehow mounted like more than your a 6-inch blade. He put like a fucking 12-inch blade on this.
They come
son of a
factory
bitch.
with a 6 1/8 blade, and then he took a 10-inch blade and like welded it to the 6 1/8 and bolted it onto the arbor, and then drilled a fucking a toggle switch into his plastic ABS pipe gauntlet. Oh, I've got the safety switch, but it's probably 3/8 of an inch away from this blade that's spinning at 38
on the wrong side, as
38
everyone in the comments pointed out. It might have made sense if it was on the
inside.
non-danger side.
Yeah.
No guards.
Put all the digits right in there. And then the blade actually spun backwards too. So he had it mounted backwards. So if you actually went to cut with it, it would drag your arm into the meat grinder. So I never saw this individual prior to watching that video, and I just immediately I thought, what in the trailer trash is going on here? Like, this is just so bad. Like, you almost deserve to get hurt if you're going to do something so stupid. I don't care how many likes you get or how many $100 checks you get or whatever from. You said, like the comments, there's people.
Total gold, total comedy gold. If you're having a bad day, who's here? 5 of you left. If you're having a bad day, as soon as you get off here, download TikTok, search Noah fucking Brown, find the skill saw thing and read the comments. It will brighten your day. People are so witty, absolute hilarity.
I can't believe people would defend it though. Like
But that's what. And so Stan and I were talking about this before this, and I'm trying to think like, I wonder how many people are being sarcastic in the comments. I wonder how many people are being genuine. And then the bigger picture, I wonder if he fucking believes his insanity, or if he's just doing it because it's generating a ton of traffic.
I think he's probably an attention whore.
Right. But because I had seen this several years ago, or whatever the seasons were, it's quite. The show was on quite a long time ago because I still live in town actually. He fucking really believed it. Like, he really thought he was going to change the world.
But what was the point of that? Well, what was the point? Did he think he was Captain America?
No, it was for brushing.
For brushing.
For brushing on the prop, because you're fucking. You're going to brush their properties. Then, so I'm running because the comments. Fuck the comments. They're just. Yeah, I mean, there's no. I was grinning all day long, just like laughing to myself about the wittiness of the comments. And I'm looking for another video to find more comments. He's got another one on his other arm. It's a fucking chainsaw, and I don't know if this wilderness man has ever felt the kickback from even a 16-inch bar.
There'll be
It'll rip your fucking arm off if it was attached to it.
That's the thing. Like, there'll be a video one time of a sawn-off willow bush, and just like a peppering of fingers at the base of this tree.
Well, what really gets me is he says, like, yeah, I fucking hot glued it on there. Like, so he's going to die. He's going to die. If he actually believes that this is some invention that the world has never fucking seen and can't live without, and he goes and he tries to cut down a tree with this fucking thing, it's going to kill him. Because it's going to rip off. Yeah. Like, the hot glue can only take so much.
He's not going to be Iron Man. He's going to be Captain Hook.
Jesus. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You guys got to check it out for sure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
if you don't,
the comments were saying like, "Oh, you got to be nice. You can't bully this." But no, you can.
It's for its own protection. It's not bullying.
Yeah, no. Like, if you see something that's wrong, you have a duty. You have an obligation to say like a bad idea is a bad idea, and if a little bit of additional shaming goes into place, say like, "Hey, you're an idiot," or "You're a dumbass." More people need to be told they're a dumbass.
Well, the amount of people that were like, this fucking guy is inventing shit that I could buy on Wish, and like calling himself a genius. Yeah. You know, there was one because like, see, now my algorithm's fucked up. I was proud of my algorithm because all it was, I mean, I was looking at the new CR11 New Holland Combine. I was I was watching a podcast about the disaster of farming in the United States, mega farms and stuff. That was my algorithm for the longest time.
Some value add content.
Now it's just fucking this idiot. So I'm scrolling through, and then it flashes live, and I swipe whatever, and now I'm watching this idiot on live, and somebody comments, "What's with the fucking Goodwill Hunting shit on the board behind you?" And I get looking in there, and he's fucking around with crystals, and he's like, "Oh, that's like a fucking some energy equation," and I'm thinking like, the same man who would fucking super glue shit to his arms, a fucking 24-inch fucking chainsaw and a 10-inch skill saw, and try to go brushing, is not, in my mind, the same man who is going to revolutionize
shooting laser beams through crystals and trying to create
there's not the same people.
Perfect fusion, right? Yeah.
I joked with I joked with my dad one time. There was a fifth wheel trailer on the property. And, it was a U-built trailer, but it kind of looks like a fifth wheel trailer. And attached to this fucking thing was a converter that these old bachelors had built. It was just the most archaic fucking thing. So they could pull it with a tractor.
Right.
It was like 2 wheels, and it was 2 different size angle irons bolted out to this fifth wheel hitch. And he's like, "Yeah, I think the same guy made both."
Yeah. And
I looked at him and I said, "Do you honestly, Dad, think the same fucking guy that made this fucking trailer made this converter?" And he's like, "Yeah, do I get your point, right? Like, maybe 45 years apart. Maybe in their 20s they built this when they had a lot of steam and and then when they got to be fucking 75 and had given up on life and just whatever will work, maybe work. Then. But the same man most likely did not build these two things.
Yeah.
Right? That would be like, fucking the same artist painted this.
In the absence of banjos, let's just wild, absolutely
But
wild.
I know. For the 5 of you that are still on here, you will not regret it. Look up Noah Brown and DeWalt skill saw fucking arm.
It is
arm.
I didn't
death
even know what
arm.
it was called. Yeah, the death arm. The arm of death.
You will,
The wheel.
and then
Spinning wheel of death.
read the comments. You will not be.
Don't worry,
you
though.
will not be disappointed.
It's got a safety switch.
And Chad, if you're still in here, shoot me a text tomorrow once you watch it.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what you think.
Just like
Jesus, it made my whole week.
he's gonna need more than 10 stitches.
It made my whole week. That fucking idiot. Oh, what a guy.
Hopefully they have better health care in Alaska than they do in Alberta.
Well, no, he's down in because like I say, now I'm invested, so they're down in Washington. Got some property in Washington.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So he's not even in Alaska.
No.
Anymore. Yeah.
So
But it's
that-
wild though. Like we talk about like the frustrations of going to town, but I mean the same frustration is just looking online and seeing like this is legitimately that some of the people that walk among us, right? Like
I think that online needs a reset. I was talking to someone about this the other day because you see it too because you're on TikTok.
yeah,
Um,
oh yeah, I know.
So when you're firing through there, and you go through a bunch of shorts or whatever, and then there'll be the odd live or whatever. It's just the way it is. And they'll be like, if you ever click on them, there'll be one of somebody sleeping. There'll be like 4,800 people watching it,
yeah.
and then you can
Yeah.
you can continue scrolling through, and there will be a true artisan in their craft doing something, explaining something,
Like,
and there'll be one fucking person watching.
Like that Kootenai Saddlery, right? Like he's
Joe
like,
Kootenai.
he's legitimately building things. He's performing art, craftsmanship, and you can watch him do that. And that's like, oh, cool. Like, not only could I enjoy watching that, but I may even actually learn a skill or develop a passion for a new skill
Right?
by watching it. But if I scroll two more videos further beyond that live, I might also see some chick that's pretending to be a Barbie robot. Or
Absolutely,
whatever, right?
dancing around.
Yeah,
and
like,
there'd be
just
17,000 people watching.
and just like what, like why would people reward that type of like? It's just I don't even know. Like what do you get out of that? What could you possibly ever glean from that would be beneficial
I don't
to your
understand
being?
it at all.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I think the internet does
But,
need a hard reset.
My favorite interaction this week wasn't even on TikTok. It was actually on one of my YouTube videos. So I made a video back in February about repairing our vacuum cleaner, and I think I sent you the
Yeah, you
screenshot
did,
of that one doorknob there. So I bought parts for this vacuum cleaner, and it cost me $125 to buy parts for a vacuum cleaner. And this fellow watched the video. I think it was a fella, just based. I don't see the picture. I don't see a profile, but just based upon the name, I believe it's a man. Commented and said, "Well, you can't. I can't believe that throughout this whole video you keep saying it's $125 part when it's it's $100 credit card bill. I know exactly what I paid for it
But that was before inflation.
before inflation. Yeah, sure." Subsequently, I did go up and actually looked up that part now, and it is $149. The cost has increased since I originally made that video, but that's not the point. The point this individual was trying to make is that the current Canadian government steals $15 in tax on a $125 part, and I was like, I'm not a friend of the government. Like I don't appreciate taxation any more than anybody else. And I'm not a big fan of government overspending or overreach in any way, shape, or form. But facts are important to me. And statistics are important. Numbers are important to me. So you tell me that it costs $15 on top of the cost for $125. I'm like, no, that's not right. It's $6.25 is what the GST is. So, but this person went on like a 2-page rant about the government and how I'm such an idiot for keep saying it's $125 when it's actually $25 because that's what you paid for it. Well, no, like I'll give you my credit card bill. You can see what I bought it off Amazon. You can see exactly what I paid for it. And I thought, how could you really politicize a fucking vacuum cleaner Like, there's things that shouldn't belong at the government. So sex, religion, and vacuum cleaners should have nothing to do with the or should have nothing to do with the government. It just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. And yeah, I was like, wow, that's what the internet has degraded to now.
Well, and that's the thing. It's given these people who have, I guess, otherwise no substance. They have like no, like that's all that they are is government complainers. Like if you were to, if you were like, yeah, what's your favorite color? Well, fuck, you can't, whatever. Fuck Trudeau, right?
Right.
No, it's not what I asked, but it's their whole thing, right? And and you kind of, I get some of those too. It was funny when you sent me that. I was like, holy shit, because I remember the video. I was like, fuck, are people still like, like. If I looked at a video that was a year and a half old, I probably wouldn't even comment on it. I'm late to the party.
Yeah. Well, I've had probably close to 100 people comment on that video and been like, oh, you just took a $2,500 or $3,000 machine that was broke, and for all intents and purposes, everybody else would have just thrown it in the fucking landfill
from the dump.
And bought the part for it, fixed it really, really easily, showed us how to do the same thing. That was actually a really useful video. Thank you for doing this. I've had dozens of people comment like that. And I was like, oh, wow. Like that was actually for something that I wasn't even originally going to film. I was like, that actually genuinely helped somebody. This is a good thing. And I couldn't believe it when this person like, let's just shit on this parade.
I got something to say.
I got a point to make. I got an agenda here, which whatever. If you have an agenda, go ahead and make your agenda. If it's fact based,
probably pissed off that it
but
was
when
red.
it's right, it was a red vacuum cleaner. Yeah, exactly. That was the problem. But and it's not even. It's burgundy, so it's not.
It's a better red.
But it's a fucking vacuum. Like it's a vacuum cleaner. Just leave it alone. Just be happy for me that I fixed a $3,000 vacuum cleaner for $125, and I showed some other people how to do something that they can make themselves a little bit more self-sustainable and have a better day.
Yeah, when you're driving down the road, you know that the fucking dump isn't 1 foot higher because of you, right? Yeah,
and there's not more
from the dump,
more junk getting because if you throw something in the dump, what's going to happen? You're going to have to go to the store and buy something else. But as we continue to manufacture things get built cheaper and shittier, and they last less and less and less. And so if I can fix something that's maybe vintage or legacy or a little bit older, maybe built reasonably well. I mean, the thing failed after 13 years or something like that. So like
it didn't owe you much.
This is intended to be a celebration, right? Not to be politicized. I thought that was wild.
Chad, did you already watch that? What are you saying, Captain Hook? Did you already segue out of here and find that guy?
Oh no, I think he was commenting on my comment that I think he was going to be Captain America, but he was actually going to be Captain Hook because he's going to cut his fucking hand off, right? So,
well, I would definitely encourage him to go look because he will laugh his
comment sections.
Off.
Yeah. The people really do walk among us.
It's funny. I was telling somebody else about like news articles that I see on Yahoo News and stuff like that. I read the headline, I read maybe the first paragraph, and then I read the last paragraph. I really don't give a fuck about all the filler, and then I get most of the like the actual thesis out of the fucking comments of people who have read it. Right? That's where I get my information.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
what is the public interpretation of this message?
There's shit that I'll and I mean this is kind of a fucking slap in my own face, but I'll look at something and say 3-minute read. So I'll start reading through this prick, and I'll look at my watch. I mean, I've been at it for 15 fucking minutes, and I don't understand, and I got to read it over again because I can't. Fucking, it's done, and I just give up.
Yeah.
Someone else read this and explain it to me.
Yeah.
Because this isn't.
You got to be careful with that though, because if you're waiting on somebody else to decipher it for you,
well,
you're just going to get a very biased view. Right?
But I find I can read through the comments a lot faster. So I can read through 58 comments, all of which are fucking. There's about 4 categories you can put all these comments in. You can generally come out with what the. I've been finding a lot lately. Really funny on the internet is there's the Dunning-Kruger Times.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen those?
Well, I know.
Fuck, is that funny?
I haven't seen that, but I know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is. Right?
So there's a Dunning-Kruger's Times, and they posted all sorts of headlines where people fucking ballistic, but nobody realizes it's satire,
Right.
and they go fucking.
So it's like The Onion, right? Remember that website, The Onion,
they
back in the early to mid 2000s? There was a website called The Onion, and there was a satire news website, and they would post like obscure stories, but the idiots, those that walk among us, so to speak, would repost it, absolutely outraged that this could even be a thing, but it was all bullshit, right?
Well, I could be watching too. I'm not too sure, but there was a guy that watches my YouTube channel. I like the guy. I talk to him every once in a while. He posted something on his Facebook page, and I actually couldn't let it slide. And I later fucking deleted my post because I don't want to get into this shit. I never fucking wanted to. I don't want to be an online fucking guy.
You can't teach a pig to sing.
He posted this thing, and it's like, yeah, fuck, see how stupid this this person is. You can't make this shit up. The whole entire fucking thing that he posted, if you were to read it, the whole entire premise of that lady's TikTok is she is satire.
Yeah.
Everything she says is to be not taken seriously, right?
Yeah.
It's expressing how fucking dumb the world is getting,
Right.
And he because I said something along the line, to post this without understanding this content creator's whole entire fucking platform is foolish.
No grasp of rhetoric, right?
And it's very dangerous to take things at face value and then to really run with them.
Yeah.
It had something to do with fucking eggs or something.
Oh, that was the other thing that fucking tweaked me the other day. It was just yesterday. I had another fella, because I made a funny TikTok about the price of apple pie, right? I
didn't even watch that yet.
Okay, so I said, so a year ago I bought an apple pie and it was 10 inches and it cost me $5. Yeah, but I don't like shrinkflation because now that same apple pie is now 8 inches, but it cost me $9. And a fella came on and he said, "Well, why'd you buy it?" I said, "Well, because I'm a fat fuck and I like the taste of apple pie. The only thing I like more than complaining about the price of apple pie is the taste of apple pie." And then he comes back. He's like, "I absolutely refuse to pay more than things are worth, and I won't pay more than $6 for a dozen eggs." And there was the list of other things that he wouldn't pay for or whatever. Have you eaten eggs at all in the last fucking 5 years? Like, go to the grocery store and buy eggs. They are more than $6. I don't care. I don't care who you are. $6 is not a crazy price. That's the stand. That's the stand you're going to take. I won't pay more than what it's worth.
Yeah, from someone who I would assume probably lives in a fucking 600 square foot fucking condo, paying $700,000 for it.
Right,
and ain't gonna pay more than what it's worth.
Go ahead and starve. I don't see if I care. Like,
no, fuck yeah, it's funny.
Eat avocados for breakfast. I don't care. Like, just leave me and my chickens alone.
Good times. Fucking, that's funny.
Oh, interesting. Anyway, it is interesting, but you just can't get enveloped into it, right? You can't get sucked in.
No, that's a big thing.
You have to stay external to it and not just get drawn in to where it's too real.
And if you're at all interested, you have to go the mile and find out what the fuck, like, it's drawn you in. You're interested in it now, and that's the unfortunate thing is now you got to find out if it's true.
Yeah,
which is often difficult to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just had this conversation because yesterday, I guess we had all the family over for my daughter's birthday. Tonight it's just her friends. And I got talking with my brother and mom, and I went at this with the full intent to drive them absolutely fucking nuts. Total provocateur.
Yeah.
I am, and I told them straight out, I am now a flat earther. There's no way this son of a bitch is round.
Oh, you are provocateur.
Oh yeah. Fuck, it was funny. Right, and so we went down well, you can Google anything. I said, yeah, you absolutely can.
Right.
And I have Googled all of the reasons why the Earth is flat, and I think this motherfucker's flat.
You've done your own research,
and I'm pretty sure at some point I'm going to make an expedition. I'm going to go to the ice wall and go through the fucking ice wall, and I'm going to go fucking see all the places outside the ice wall.
Right. Or it may just fall off the edge.
No, you're not gonna fall off the edge. It's big. It's to you in your lifetime. You'll never get to the end. It's how big it is flat, but it's flat.
Right. Well,
That might be a fucking whole thing for another live.
standing on the backs of 4 elephants, which on the back of a turtle, a giant turtle floating through space.
It's funny because everybody's a good guy, but we can't let nothing go away. So right away we're googling the fucking, and it come up with one thing that kind of disproved it all together, and he's really stuck with that. But it was fun to. I like to agitate if I can, right? I'm a
Shit disturber.
if you haven't heard a rumor by fucking 10 o'clock, you may as well start one kind of a guy.
Yeah. Stir
Nice.
the pot a little.
Keep it interesting. This went out.
I kind of give up on the last inch and a half of mine.
Well, I was gonna get this thing.
I'll tell myself that's an inch and a half. I'm not really sure what that is, but
I was gonna get this back for what I deposited into my lungs.
figure I wasn't.
Smoke the rest of it.
Every puff I was gonna have to relight that last little bit.
It's gonna torch it. Every cigar smoker in the world is probably shaking right now. It's gonna cook the
Just-
shit out of it.
Just charbroiling.
Like
It's just glowing like fucking
$20 worth of butane.
Looks like a mountain in Iceland right now.
Like this mountain Mordor.
Yeah. Mountain Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frodo Baggins is crawling up that cigar right now.
I'll get it though. I'll get the
You'll
value.
get your money's worth out of it.
Free
Out of a
cigar.
free cigar. Oh man.
Mighty fine.
Oh hey there. You hear that?
Oh, it kicked in.
The furnace finally kicked on. That means it is 10 degrees Celsius
You
in
know
the shop right
what's
now.
funny? So I seen you and you're like, yeah, we keep it at 0 degrees. I don't know why or whatever you keep it. So I was talking to electrician guy that buys feed, and
Yeah.
we were talking about the trailer, right? Because we don't live in the trailer anymore.
Yeah.
And I said, we turn it back down to 10 or whatever. And he's like, that's the biggest scam in the world. It doesn't take any more energy to keep it at 20 degrees or 16 degrees. It does 10 degrees.
Is that
And
right?
I was thinking, I was like, fuck. I wonder if that's true. Because I don't fucking know.
I don't know either.
But it kind of makes sense. Like once it's all warm,
I mean,
does it take any more to keep it warm?
well, I think maybe there's a fact-finding mission that we could do there.
It kind of bothered me after you said it. I was like, well, fuck.
But yeah, when we're not up here, I run this place like cold, like
Well, but you got a lot of produce in here
above freezing. But yeah, I keep my potatoes and my pumpkins and the squash and all
Like I
that
said,
stuff.
there's reasons to that.
So
But
there's a reason.
like if you were keeping an unused home or whatever with no produce in it,
Yeah.
would you save money by trying to keep it just above freezing, as opposed to keep it at
Yeah.
livable? The whole entire new house with the shop and everything, and the shop's not efficient. There's 2 overhead fucking natural gas furnaces, not radiant heat or anything. Single pane windows,
Right.
Fucking thing,
Yeah.
and the trailer now set at basically 12 degrees or 15 degrees, and it never went up. And I was wondering, I wonder if it actually costs.
But yeah, it's not really an apples to apples comparison because I mean your house is probably super energy efficient by comparison to the trailer.
Yeah. Well, you see, the trailer had triple pane windows, or like 3 windows, and our house
Yeah.
only has
But
double pane.
but 2x4 walls as opposed to 2x6 walls, right?
Oh, I think they're. What the fuck were they? No, they're 2x6 walls in that trailer.
Oh, really?
They are because before we moved into it, we had to cut a bunch of fucking walls out because there was no eavesdrops on the son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And the shingles curled, and all the fucking water since 1980
Was running in on the wrong
ran
side,
down through the fucking walls.
on the back
So we-
side of siding.
Yeah, we had to cut a bunch of that out, and I was surprised. Like it was a very well built, very energy efficient trailer.
Huh.
The window is
Interesting.
always steam up, but it's not hard to heat, and it's not big, right? It's not a double wide,
No,
so it's very easy to heat. But I was like, In fact, one winter, the one winter we were staying there, it was minus 40 that night, and of course, if of all nights you're gonna lose fucking power, it's gonna be that night.
Yep.
There was a natural gas heater in the addition that they had built on, and I phoned my mom because we had both the kids in the back rooms, and I phoned her. I said, the power's up. And I'm like, will your car start? Because, I mean, fuck, young couple can stay warm.
Yeah.
But fuck, 2 kids in the back room, whatever. Right? I said, well, see if your car will start. That fucking trailer with that heater running with no power to run the fan, it heated that whole trailer up.
Oh yeah.
It never went below 16 degrees.
I believe it.
Because I stayed up and I walked back and forth or whatever, and I told my mom, I said, I'll call you if I need you to come get the kids. But yeah, it shocked the shit out of me. It was so easy to heat. Of course, we never, obviously you're not going to open the doors and shit. But
No. Yeah.
It once it was warm, it stayed warm. And then I got to thinking after he said that, I was like, well, fuck, maybe that is it. Because everyone, turn your thermostat down. Right? Turn it down to 17 degrees and put on a sweater. But maybe you don't need to.
Yeah, maybe not.
Like maybe it doesn't save you any money.
Maybe once you're there, maybe not.
Because I don't really buy into. I don't even buy into energy efficient furnaces and shit like that. Like the furnace in my parents' house is the original fucking furnace.
Yeah.
It's had no maintenance to it.
No.
I helped him change the water heater maybe 10 years ago.
Interesting.
And that's it.
Interesting.
Like a fucking amazing.
Huh.
And new furnaces, we know countless with new builds, say 2000 and on, where the fucking furnace man lives at their fucking house.
Yeah.
They're always there.
We've been lucky. We haven't ever had furnace issues. Ever. We lived, when we first moved to Beaver Lodge, one of the first places we lived in was this shitty little trailer that we bought. And it was a foreclosure deal. We bought it for $8,600 or something like that. Dirt cheap. I fixed that place up. We sold it a few years later for $25,000. And I think, less than a year later, it fucking burnt down. Coleman, it was a Coleman furnace in it, and they had some recall from the early 90s.
Oh, boy.
That of course we did. I had no idea, right? Anyways, it took fucking 30 years, and then finally
that's what did her.
Shit the fucking bed and burnt the house down. So, yeah.
Well, you had mentioned earlier about like how things aren't built like they were, but yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Even my wife, my dad, they kind of went round and round when she was buying things for the houses it was getting built. He's like, wow, fucking furnace. Like she said, you can't buy a fucking 40-year-old furnace, man.
You can't.
Right? Like, what do you want us to do?
You can't.
Right?
You can't go and say, I'm going to buy the best quality furnace, because you're probably just not. You're just going to buy the most expensive one.
Yeah, or you just get a fucking furnace. When you tell them, you give them the fucking layout of your house, you give them the blueprints, and say, this is the fucking furnace you need.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
You pick your HVAC guy, and he says, we got 18 fucking furnaces, send us your blueprints. This is the fucking furnace you need. They're all built the same. Some are just bigger capacity.
That's right. We put a furnace and a boiler in, like a natural gas boiler in our house. So the basement is run off of in-floor heating.
Fuck, I wish I would have done that.
And I tell you, like the other day I went down there and it was like kind of chilly. So I cranked it up to 21 degrees. And by the end of the day, I was like, it's absolutely unbearably hot down here.
I wish I would have done that. I kind of fucking a little bit ticked that the people building the house didn't stress more
recommend to do that,
because I mean, house.
Yeah, and the cost is so, like, if you're already buying an on-demand water heater system, you're just, all you need to do is buy the pump to attach to it.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of all the plastic pipe that goes in the concrete is so negligible. Like, I think the cost of the build, it was like $2,000, and when you're already spending $500,000 building a house, it's like, just do it.
And now you can't. Now it's the
once your house is built, once your concrete is poured, you can't, right?
I think because we only got in there last November, and when I went down there the first few times, as they were, even as they were building it, it was cool, and I thought, fuck, like this is a warm basement, right? But then once it got finished, once the kids got moved down there, and then Corey, she got them some alarm clocks and shit that. Of course, everything now does everything. So it had a little. Fuck, it was 14 degrees in my daughter's
temperature
room.
in it or whatever. Right?
And I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
This isn't good. good. So now we have fucking heaters in the basement.
Yeah.
Well, there
Like
goes her
baseboard
fucking-
heaters.
Well, yeah, she ended up getting these fucking Dyson things or whatever. And they work pretty good, but we didn't have them last winter. I felt so bad for the fucking kids. We had like 4 blankets on them.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it's no fun waking up to 12 degrees.
That is
Right?
beyond refreshing.
You know,
Yeah.
we're upstairs, and that's the other fucked up thing. The controllers upstairs. There's 21. So I had shut all the vents upstairs.
Yeah.
I shut every fucking vent upstairs in the house. So it only heated the fucking basement.
And just let it float up.
And still, you know, the furnace would run until it was 21 degrees upstairs, and then within 5 fucking minutes, it was 14 degrees downstairs, but it was still 21 degrees upstairs for the next 6 fucking hours.
Oh, wow.
So you fucking either had to open the windows upstairs just so to keep the basement heated.
Right.
So anyway, we went to this Dyson room, and I was they, you know, for the 4 watching. The kids are safe, they're good, fucking, they're
Yeah.
not freezing to death.
Yeah.
It's warm down there now, but it was
Wow.
a huge oversight.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the other thing we didn't fucking do is put a fucking ceiling fan upstairs. I don't know how that got fucking
Oh,
missed.
yeah.
And we got our ceilings are like fuck, they're like 20 fucking feet
Yeah.
high,
To draw that heat down, right?
and there's no fan.
Yeah.
So that would be easy. I'm sure they could fucking run a wire from the light.
Sure.
I guess, but
Sure.
it's,
Yeah.
you just got to do it now. You got to fucking build scaffolding.
You gotta do it. Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
Anyways, things you don't know, I guess, or I remain fairly hands off on that whole entire thing. I told her I'll figure out how to generate enough revenue to pay for this fucking thing every month.
Yeah. I'll just go to work.
You fucking build it.
Yeah.
But
Build what you want.
If we get in
Furnace.
Yeah.
And it is the coldest room in the house. And so we have to heat the house 2 degrees warmer beyond comfort
Mhm.
just to keep that room so that nobody gets frostbite in it, right? And that to me, I drives me up the wall. And I've gone around and pinched off furnace vents or whatever and just tried to get it so that more airflow goes there. Can't
it doesn't seem
can't
to
get her.
work.
Can't get her. And when people say, well, just try like those inline fans so when your furnace kicks on, it draws more air there. But I don't know. Like if I shut off all the other furnace vents and I just push all the air to that room, it should get hot as fuck in that room. But it doesn't, right? So I don't know.
And that's exactly. So this is going to be the test this winter. Is now we got that Dyson thing down there, that Dyson heater
Yeah.
in the hallway, so it heats up both the kids' rooms and the playroom. We haven't even split wood now to get the wood stove going. I got to do that at some point, but I'm lazy, so
Yeah.
it's always something else.
Not lazy, just
Well, fucking lazy.
Busy
too.
making-
I mean, there'd be
busy
minutes.
making bags
Well,
of grain.
the-
Let's be honest.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't want to grab the axe and start splitting it. I want to use the splitter, but the way the splitter is fucking rigged up, somebody has to be running the lever while I'm holding the block. So it's a 2-person fucking job,
Yeah.
and there's never 2 people around.
Right.
So if I can find another fucking person to do this,
Huh.
it won't get done. The bags of wood are sitting there. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. There's always tomorrow.
And then the thing, yeah, they didn't get cold. You got minus 20 for 2 days, and then you got plus 7 again.
And it's beautiful, yeah. So
So
when is that gonna happen?
even the 2
I
weeks,
think
it's like
Jan-
minus 5 as a fucking high for the day, or minus 4 for a high for the day, and minus 5 for a low for the night.
into January, do you think we're gonna get our ass kicked?
Well, I need to. Oh, I think we're going to take a whooping here yet. I did see it. They said with El Nino or whatever, there will be less snow this winter. But we're definitely going to pay for the nice fall. We always do.
Dude, we will. Yeah.
The thing that's really rattling me, kids wanted to play hockey this year. I was really, really hoping they didn't want to play hockey at all. I knew if they wanted to, I wouldn't have an option because my mother dedicated fucking 25 fucking years of her life to hockey with 3 boys.
Right.
So, I mean, you can't fucking not do it, I guess.
A friend of ours, they took their 4-year-old daughter all the way to Savannah today to play hockey. 4 years old, already traveling an hour
That's
and
nuts.
hour and 40 minutes.
7 teams.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to play hockey, so Buddy's 5, Amy's 7, so U9, U7, 2 teams. Can't keep up.
No,
Can't skate, can't fucking, because they never were in hockey.
that's right.
So we always built a rink, except for last year, because I got deathly sick in November, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do the bags, I couldn't do the molasses, I couldn't do the fucking rink. But this year I wanted to build a rink, and it won't get fucking cold.
No.
How do you build a rink at +7 outside?
Yeah.
Pretty
Hey
tricky,
kids, we got an outdoor
right?
pool. Yeah.
So
Bring,
hopefully it
bring
cools
your
off.
fucking
after
water
we
wings.
start this.
Uh.
Get a few extra days on the ice.
What a time, eh?
What a time.
Oh, that's still really.
It's good though. It's a really good whiskey and a really good cigar.
But it
though.
is torquey. Like if you get like a half a sip more than you expect,
Oh yeah, no, you can't do that.
Whew.
That's a rookie mistake.
it's
On the wrong hand.
it's torquey.
What do we got left? 4 left. 255.
Yeah, we
Time
should
to
let
shut her on down.
let some folks go to bed.
Absolutely.
Is it
Chad's still in here. Thanks, Chad, for
Chad's-
staying along. I'm sure
Chad's
he's still here.
champion.
He is.
Yeah. Watches all the videos, comes to
You're
the
gonna have
live
to-
streams.
You're gonna have to venture down here one day, Chad, and actually join us for a whiskey. one
Probably
night.
should actually just come
One
on
night,
in.
one afternoon, one whatever.
Yeah.
Let us know when you're coming down.
Whether we do it live or not, just come for a whiskey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Grab Jeremy on the way by.
Jeremy, Chad, and Justin.
Justin.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's funny because Justin wanted to come over to my place tonight and have a drink.
Oh
And I
yeah.
said, I wasn't being a dick about it. I said, well, it's my daughter's birthday, so I'm not going to be doing it because
Today's your daughter's birthday?
No, her daughter's birthday was during the week. Her fucking sleepovers tonight.
Oh.
So I was like, well, you can't. I'm not gonna fucking be. I'm leaving my house on Saturday. I don't want to bag me there.
I was
Is
gonna say because I
is it-
feel like a piece of shit if I took you out of here.
No, there's
On your daughter's birthday.
9 under 7
Yeah.
running the fuck around there.
Yeah. You'll
And
get
then-
home and they'll still be.
When I left,
Pillow
there
fighting
was all of them, like I say, 4 identical, all of them with face masks, and they're doing a whole spa thing, and it's just fucking chaos. There's my
man.
boy abandoned ship.
Really?
He fucking phoned my mom, and Grandma came and picked him up so he could get the fuck out of there.
Too many chicks.
Way too many. There's 11 fucking women in there. So she's time for the boys to leave.
Plenty.
Way too fucking many.
Yeah.
But they're having a blast.
So you're gonna have to make a lot of pancakes in the morning.
Yeah, I suppose. And they were all making their own pizzas, and they were all making their own cupcakes, and they were all doing the whole spa thing, and, right? Because my youngest, right? She's only she's not even a year.
Yeah.
She's there, and Corey's there.
She's moving around, crawling around yet? Or
Yeah,
what?
she's so lazy. She's what did Corey call the third child syndrome? Fucking lazy because her brother and her sister bring her everything.
Yeah.
And we try to tell him to stop doing that. Leave her alone. Let her crawl to something. Because Corey was looking back, and my boy and Andy both were walking already by now, and she doesn't barely crawl.
Finley's like that too. Like she doesn't talk.
Because Charlotte brings everything, and
Charlotte does
and
everything.
said,
Yeah,
"Oh,
same
Finn
thing.
needs this."
Yeah.
Well, let her say it.
Yeah.
No, I got this, and it's great, but you can see it.
But
not-
it handicaps them, right?
it's a fucking massive
Yeah.
hindrance to the whole
To their development.
to the development.
Yeah.
And we're trying to tell these fucking other two, like, you have to let her
Yeah.
struggle. Like, let her cry and let her
Yeah.
struggle and crawl to the block.
That's
Don't
right.
take her to the block.
Yeah.
'Cause she's lazy. Lazy.
Huh.
Like her dad.
Now I'm getting stuffed up.
Good.
That's
Fuck. I'm
good.
glad. Because
But
I
I
got
think
stuck.
I think
stuffed
yeah,
up too.
I think it's this thing. Fucking
Well.
Huh.
Good deal.
all right.
Almost. Busy season.
Almost at a busy season.
Oh, Justin is still here. Well, anyways, Justin, that's why I couldn't have a drink with you tonight because I fucking left my own house.
Huh.
So, all
Okay.
fine with. But yeah, well, we may as well let them all go.
We gotta make a date.
You bet.
Get some guests coming. Okay. We'll let you folks go. Have a good night. Can't even make that work.
started to
Okay.
do. This sucks now. It's been relit like 20 times, and my lungs are still burning from that real deep ingestion that I took.
Tough pull.